see is here tonight, and that means that all of you are going to be video stars. We are taping the festivities that you're seeing here tonight, and it's going to be broadcast on MTV at 9 p.m. So if you're going to head out of here and go home, just turn the TV on, and you probably see yourself. So what's going to happen is the cars are going to be coming up from this way. I'm going to be making an announcement as to who's getting out of the car. A lot of people are going to be coming up to talk to us. You can be just as enthusiastic as you want to be, because I'm sure a lot of the people that you really dig are going to be coming up.
Stewie, how you doing?
So I'll announce who's coming up. We'll probably talk for a little bit, and then they're going to go right on inside. The main thing, of course, is for everybody to have a good time. Okay, in fact, I know that our first guest has arrived already. A little early. Yep, somebody knows who it is already. Anita Pointer, would you come up and say hello? Hi. I'm fine. How are you tonight, Anita?
Oh, I'm fine. Hollywood Boulevard.
What makes you a Prince fan?
It's good music. Consistent good music. So now I'm waiting to see what his acting will go like.
Gentlemen, what makes you Prince fans? Carlos, you want to go first?
We like to dance.
You're a big dance fan. Is there something in particular that you're looking for in this movie tonight? Are you looking forward more to seeing the music, perhaps, than the acting?
I'm here to see it all, whatever they have on this.
Yeah. Can we talk for a minute, entertainer tonight?
Sure. Boys for Quiet Ride.
Come on.
Hi.
How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Closer together, guys.
Okay, here we go. Hi, my name is Carlos Cavazzo, and this is Rudy Sust from Quiet Riot. All in here.
Right here.
Over here.
Hey.
Ladies and gentlemen, anybody in LA listen to Dr. Demento? Welcome.
No one can dance as good as Prince. No one makes as good as music as Prince.
What do you think is difficult about making rock and roll happen on film?
Getting a budget.
Do you think his magic will translate?
Absolutely. Anybody is
What's
incredible
happening
as
for Weird
Prince
Al in the near
cannot
future?
come off badly on
Oh,
film.
just lots of things. I thought I'd go to a movie tonight,
Do you think
maybe
it's
eat some
risky at all
popcorn,
to
maybe
test
take a
the
shower
record sales
afterwards.
against
It's a
the
busy
box
line car
office
park
sales?
myself.
No, I really
Nobody
don't. I
wants
see
to
him
hang Weird
being
Al for a shower.
totally in line
We'll
with
talk
both
about that.
mediums.
Thank you
There's
very
no
much. Go ahead and get a
conflict
good
whatsoever.
seat.
How about for your group?
A round of applause for Weird Al.
Same thing. If we were allowed to make a feature, we could make one as good as Prince's.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Come talk to entertainer tonight. Get over it.
Hello.
Really big fan. I bought the record and everything.
Do you think it's kind of a natural transition for Prince to go from rock and roll to the big screen?
I think so. I think the big screen is kind of a natural transition from Prince to go from rock and roll to. Yeah, it seems like a natural kind of thing to do.
Do you think his magic is going to work up there?
It's going to work. Purple Rain is going to be the biggest movie of the entire evening on Hollywood Boulevard, and I think it's going to continue in a trend of movies that Prince has done ever since he started making the movies.
Is that what we should project for you? You know, from your kind of music to the big screen?
I think so. I think I'm going to just follow along in Prince's footsteps because he's been my personal idol for many, many years now, and I just can't wait until I, too, am Prince-like.
Are you going to do a Prince video? Are you going to do a mock-up of the Prince video?
Gosh, you just never know with me. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Are you
I don't know what I'm
very
going to do seconds from now. My whole life is so fluid, it's just really hard to tell what I'm going to be doing. So even a few moments from now, I don't even know.
Very definitely acting-wise and everything. I mean, just from the music videos he's done so far, without even talking about, Purple Rain and that kind of stuff. He's pretty easy to see. He's a talented guy, so I'm really looking forward to the movie.
Good. Have fun.
Okay, I will. Bye.
Over, Cassia. Hi. How are you? Good. How are you? Great.
everybody here knows Clarence plays Prince's dad in the movie, right? He does a great job. Is everybody here going to go and see the thing tomorrow? Me too.
You were marvelous in this film.
Thanks a lot.
see yourself in that role acting? Big movies?
Well, someday. Right now I'm acting out. You too.
Do you think it's kind of a natural transition for Prince to go from rock and roll to the big screen?
Oh, definitely. I mean, Prince in his videos has such an incredible magic, you know, and I think that on the big screen he's going to be unbelievable. All of his reviews have been the best, and I think we're going to just really enjoy the film.
Turn it up. We just want her alone.
Okay, this is my dad.
Oh, that's marvelous. All right. Well, both of you, can you turn over here, please.
And we will. We'll get them for you in a second. We will. This is her father first, and then we'll get her alone, okay?
Over here, Lisa.
I know. I'll get it for you. Hi. Okay. All right. Apollonia.
One more.
Get her. 1 second.
A man who needs no introduction. Eddie Murphy. Wait a minute, Eddie. We didn't even say anything to each other. Just one question.
How are you?
Why are you a Prince fan?
Because Prince is bad. And I'm looking forward to seeing the movie. The movie's going to be rough. I wish y'all go all see it tomorrow. Movie's tough. Have some fun. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Eddie. We'll see you at the party. Eddie Murphy. Mr. Morris Day from The Time.
Let me borrow this from you. What's happening? What time is it?
Morris, you a little nervous?
Not at all. I'm just...
What's going through your mind right now?
I want to see the movie and then I want to see some lovely young ladies, so y'all hang around,
These people already know who's here. Sheila E. What's happening for The Time? You going to do a tour, a record?
We don't want to talk about that this evening. Let's just...
Wait, does anybody here want Morris to talk about that?
Well, then y'all going to have to stick around for the next time. We just going to watch the movie, and like I said, young ladies hang around. I'm going to be doing one of these.
What are you?
You did?
I would so love for you to see my home. Morris Day!
I think premieres like this are a great time. You know? I think this is like the old-fashioned days. This is the way opening the movie should be. I'm looking forward to it.
Fear? Does that go through one's mind?
No, I didn't make the movie, so I got nothing to be scared of. I'm going to enjoy it.
You're a Prince fan?
Yes, I am. I didn't know much about his music till about a month ago, but I sure am now.
Thanks, Christopher. Enjoy it. Ladies and gentlemen, lead vocalist with Talking Heads, David Byrne, standing right over there. The star of Purple Rain.
Oh my
Please
God!
welcome
Oh, Prince!
His Royal Badness, Prince.
Up this way, Prince. Oh God! Oh God! Oh God! Oh, Prince! 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 I love you! Prince! Oh my
I love Prince! I love Prince! Oh, I love Prince! I got him on camera!
We love him too! We love him too! Thank you, people!
Prince is showing! We got him on Zoom!
He's gonna go see Prince!
That's right! Yes!
He's gonna go see Prince!
Yeah! You see that? We will be there! We will be there!
We get to talk to Prince, I know. I feel the same way, but he just doesn't talk to anybody.
All right!
Maybe a little later. If you go home and watch this, we're going to be covering the party live. Have a good time.
my God, dude! What?
What? Oh,
What a video, dude!
that was awesome.
Welcome.
WTF? Welcome to Funkatopia.
Welcome to Funkatopia. WTF? Tonight, we are celebrating the 38th anniversary of that night, which happened on July 26, 1984.
Yes.
Welcome to Funkatopia Live. I am your host, Mr. Christopher. I forgot my name. I was just so wrapped up in this freaking video.
I know.
There was just so many little pieces that we're going to talk about here in just a second. But also my illustrious co-host, Mr. Jeff Page. You have to do your little thing.
Got to get my ferns.
Yeah, you have to get your thing. Tonight again, we're celebrating that iconic evening, and obviously it's the premiere of that movie that changed the world forever, and it happened this day 38 years ago. And tonight we have some special guests to help us celebrate the momentous occasion. They're going to be kind of coming in and out tonight, but our guests range from folks who were actually there at the premiere to people who were part of the movie to fans like most of us here. We want to try to recreate that vibe from back in the day, and I realize that a lot of our audience probably wasn't even born when this movie came out. I totally get that. So that will be our job, is to kind of help paint the picture for you of what it was like. I was 16 when that movie came out, and I have my own story, which I will share with you at some point tonight. But let's start talking about the movie premiere itself. And you just got done seeing it. Even if you were here like 10 minutes ago, you just got done seeing some of it. Yeah. And you got to see some of the footage of that actual premiere that happened on July 26, 1984. A lot of news and press were there. And pretty much the only footage that you can readily find are the MTV heavily edited version of what you just witnessed. And also the video that you just got done seeing from our guests. So please, let's welcome our first guest, writer, producer, director, Mr. Tony Blass. We're gonna unmute you, Tony. I think you muted yourself. But,
I did. I'm not sure I really want to hear myself talking about all right, I'm already the oldest guy here, right?
Well,
I gotta be, right?
I think at this point, right now.
Okay, at this point.
That's okay. Not. Yeah. So this is Tony Blass. For those who don't know, he is a gentleman who actually shot all of that footage that you guys just got done watching. And I reached out to Tony, and I said, first off, I want your blessings to actually show this video. That's the biggest thing. I want to make sure that we get your blessings to actually show it. But I thought, you know what? I would love to have you on the show so we could actually talk a little bit about this whole night. It was just pretty much insane.
Let me just jump in and say thank you for doing that, because it is awesome. So thank you for just having the whatever they want to call it to even go out and do that.
Yeah, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Yeah. So I see some people asking some questions about whether or not we're going to be showing some of the MTV footage. Yes, we are going to be showing some MTV footage as well tonight. But I do want to, before we start getting into some of the questions that I have for you, Tony, I do want to welcome my other really, 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 and I'm not just saying this, a really, really good friend of mine. I love him dearly. He's just a really good friend, and he's here with me. And you guys may know him. He is the author of this book right here, Prince and the Purple Rain Era Studio Sessions, 1983 to 1984. But on top of that, he's also got another book as well, which is behind me, and I don't want to ruin the vibe and everything, because if we're talking about Purple Rain, I mean, he's going to get paid whether you pick up this book or his new one. Doesn't really matter. Let's bring him in. Mr. Dwayne Tudol's in the house.
And he's reading. Next page.
What's in this book? A lot of cliffhangers.
What's going on?
This would be a good movie.
Yeah.
How you guys doing?
Oh, man. I'm so glad to have you here, because it's just a lot of fun. As you can tell, I was pulling together all
did Jeff do a fur for me? So.
I did, okay, but I was too busy laughing at
it. I'm so excited. I just want to make sure I got my fur.
It was more like a fur.
Tony, how old did you say you were?
I am 61.
You win. You win.
Thank you. Yes,
You win.
I was there. I was 23 that night, and it was my first night ever doing anything like that. And by the way, it was a complete fluke. I did nothing. I had no whatever it was you said, Jeff, that you were glad I had, because I did not. I went to I was going with a friend to see the midnight showing of the movie. That's all.
Well, isn't that how it works? The greatest creations come out of just a random act.
It's unbelievable. Okay, that's the most money I've ever made on documentary footage, and I actually did documentaries for a couple of decades. So it's just amazing. You know, people have been so kind to just like put it in the most diverse sorts of things, from the NFL channel on their Timeline 1984, several documentaries, a PBS special about the club, you know, the famous club, First Avenue, and then Tour Bus, Tales from the Tour Bus on Showtime. I don't know if you've seen that.
The animated
Morris Day,
yeah.
That's in there too.
Yeah,
that's great.
Wow. Well, so again, both Jeff Page and myself were 16 when this movie came out, and so that was like the perfect window of. I do have first off, I want to say that you caught some pretty iconic moments. First off, Christopher Reeves standing.
Yeah.
Doing an interview, Christopher Reeves, who don't for our younger audience who may or may not know this, Christopher Reeves was in a horse riding accident, if I remember correctly, and when he fell off, he was paralyzed, and so he spent his last days in a wheelchair, and then he's passed away. But to see him at that premiere standing doing an interview was like, wow, oh my god.
That's when he was still Superman.
He was still Superman.
He was still Superman. Yeah.
Always Superman.
He's always going to be my Superman. He's always my Superman.
I agree.
Yeah.
Superman. Exactly. No, he was great. He was the best. Literally, they're not going to find a better Superman than that guy. He was
it was just perfect. He was he was just perfect in every way. Yeah.
And he was a real movie star too. That was what was great. And he mentions that this is like an old Hollywood premiere. And it was, because really after the 50s and television and film noir, and then the 60s with the counterculture and auteurs, and then the 70s when it got really gritty, there was no glamour left in Hollywood. And really that is one of the amazing things about this night, is that Prince brought glamour back to Hollywood.
Sort of a glamorous life out there. Huh?
Glamour. That sounds like a song.
Sounds like a song. Should write that.
Does kind of sound a little bit like a song.
So in 83, 84, now are you going to write, do you write about the Sheila E. recording and stuff as well?
Oh yeah. Okay. So yes, we need to make sure that Dwayne, we need to make sure we figure out some way to get Tony a copy of this book. This is Tony. I don't know if you're familiar with this book.
I could buy one.
Yes. Well,
Amazon, I suppose.
Yes.
Too old for that book.
Let me just say, this is the encyclopedic. That's a word, right? This is the most.
I'm not a writer. I don't know.
Book. It's an unbelievable book that covers every single day. Very, very similar to what like Prince Vault, where it's you kind of. It's every single day what was going on, who was recording, what he did that day, what was, who, and it's intertwined with the stories of that, where things were going on with those personal life. It is by far the best Prince books that are out there. I'm sorry.
Now, Dwayne, how did you get access to this information?
Well, to give you a little background, I also did documentaries and things like that in Los Angeles. So I've always been a writer and whatnot, and I was a big fan. I used to work for a magazine called Uptown. I'll give you the condensed version because everybody's bored of this by now. But I met a bunch of people that worked on this stuff, and I thought this would be a really cool topic. So wrote the first one, and didn't know. I started writing it probably 1990, and then had it done a month before he passed away, and I was ready to go, but I wasn't sure what to do with it then. And so I went around and asked the people I interviewed, and I interviewed 40 or 50 people that worked on Purple Rain and whatnot. And they all said, yes, you should put the book out because you've been working on this for 20 years. It's not something you just did overnight, and came out with it in November of 2017. And but it's sort of as a documentary maker, you're telling a story, and so it's the same kind of thing as I went to the whole concept of here's all the information. How do I string that together with a story? And the story was just revealed through the people telling me what happened in the studio. You start to realize the songs he did were reflecting the life he was doing. Never bored of your stories. Thank you very much. Thank you, Cammy. I do feel like I repeat myself a lot with these things because I've only got so many words in my head. But I'll shuffle them.
No, that's great. Just a quick thing in between. Chris, I'm noticing your mic's a little bit low.
Is it?
I think so compared to everybody else. You may want to bring it up a little bit.
Can't do that.
Hey, you sound great. It's just a little low.
Of course I do. Yeah, I was trying to avoid the opposite of what I did the past 2 episodes, which I was clipping on a couple of different occasions, so I can obviously move myself a little bit closer. So one of the things, too, for those who are just joining us, obviously we have author, writer extraordinaire, Dwayne Tudol, author of Prince and the Purple Rain Era Studio Sessions 1983 and 1984.
Yes,
that
sir.
is the relevancy that he has as a guest tonight. And also someone that you probably don't know, Tony Blass, who is responsible for, if you go onto YouTube and you search for Purple Rain Premiere, you're going to find his footage. Tony Blass is the one that was at the premiere that night. And you obviously did get to see the movie that night, correct, Tony?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, so
at midnight.
And so what was your, so you definitely beat us, because when I went to go see it, I saw it the next day. Which was actually the day that it was actually released across all the theaters. Right. And we went to go see it, and we came out, and we went right back to the box office and bought tickets and went back in and saw it again. So yeah, I was like, oh my gosh. So now, you said you were there just as kind of Adam Goldberging it, or I mean, were you there capturing the footage for someone? You were just kind of.
Oh no, I was a videographer for a marketing company. And I did wedding videos on the side. So my friend got the tickets for the show, and he said, oh, why don't you bring your camera? Maybe we can get some video of Prince showing up or something. Okay, that sounds fine. So in those days, the VHS portable was the same size as the battery. So I had two, and they were heavy. I had 2 of these things on either shoulder, plus the camera, which was also heavier than it looks. And I don't know what I was planning to do. I think I was planning to be in behind one of those barricades out on Hollywood Boulevard, but we would have never gotten anywhere near to that. So we just walked up to the guy who was, standing at the purple carpet, and he said, "Where are your tickets?" And I wasn't lying. I just pointed at our tickets for the midnight show that were sticking up out of one of the battery pack. And apparently it was the same ticket as the premiere. So it had the black and white version of this picture, and a little purple border. And they were, sort of tall, and they were shoved in there. He assumed we had tickets to the premiere. So he let us go. And so we wandered onto the purple carpet. Now I'm like, wow, look at everything. Look at these guys, these fans. Some of them are dressed up, and it's like, I didn't know it was that much of a thing. I mean, I knew it was a thing. I'd been into Prince for years, but I'd only gone to one show, and I didn't know what was really happening. So then I'm walking backwards, trying to film everything, and I bumped into Anita Pointer. You see it, the camera whips around. She's like, ah! I'm like, ah! And the guy from Warner Brothers grabs me by the shoulder and says, "What the hell are you doing out on the purple carpet?" I'm like, well, that's it. We're done. And he's like, "You have to stay in the TV area or you're out. And where the hell are your press passes?" Left them in the car, that kind of a thing. He's like, "All right, well, you cannot be here without press passes." He slaps 2 press passes on us and throws us next to Entertainment Tonight.
Oh my God, that's the craziest story ever.
It's the craziest story ever. I'm like,
fantastic.
I don't know if I have enough battery power. I don't know how much I can shoot.
Oh my God.
I don't know if our microphone isn't set up the way Entertainment Tonight. They had a microphone that where you could stand in the midst of all that nonsense and just record the person, right?
Right.
A good microphone. I don't even know which, highly directional, I guess. But we just had a boom mic. So we could not have escaped MTV if we'd wanted to. It's literally booming from all over. So that's how we got in there.
Yeah, I was going to ask because I kept seeing that Entertainment Tonight mic kind of pop up in the picture. So I was like, he's either working for Entertainment Tonight or. Now you said you were a Prince fan. Now, in that video, there is a clip as Prince is coming up the walkway of a guy screaming, "We love you, Prince! We love you, Prince!" Was that you or was that
no? It was my friend.
Tony, you can admit it. It's okay. It's okay.
I would admit it.
We're here for you.
I did love Prince. Oh,
it's okay,
don't get me wrong. I was a total fanatic. No. I would have been happy to tell him privately that I loved him, but I would not have yelled it there because if you watch the MTV footage later, you'll see that the screaming has to fade down as the cameraman who's backing up as they walk past us and try not to get us in the shot. They had to literally cut their audio because of that. And I think that's why we didn't get into the party, by the way. But, this was my friend. And
Tony, I have a question for you.
So excited.
Did you get in anybody else's camera? Have you seen yourself in anybody else's footage?
I have never seen myself. Do you think I watched that MTV footage frame by frame? Now it's VHS, so it looks like shit. But I'm like, I think that's us. I think that might be us. Nope. No, they managed to. Okay, this is my favorite thing about that whole night. They didn't know we had gotten behind the gates, but the stars did. Apollonia knew. She spins around, she's posing for the thing, and then she looks over at me and she goes, wink. Okay. And then, apropos of nothing, Morris is walking up this thing and he turns right around to my camera and goes, does his thing, right? Right? Doesn't do that for anybody else, doesn't do that for the cameras. They knew we had somehow gotten in there.
That's awesome.
So that's my favorite part about it. That, we were never pretending to be professionals. Who could have possibly thought we were? And then, when my friend got the chance to tell Prince he loved him, well, that was it. He wasn't going to miss that.
Yeah,
no matter what it cost us.
That's probably what I would have done too. I probably would have done that, and I probably would have been crying also.
It's not coming out.
So I am so glad that I didn't meet him until I was much older and I could hold myself together. Yeah. So that's.
When did you meet him?
I didn't meet him until 2000s. I met him in 2001. So that was the first time that I met him, and it was a shocker because as I've said many times before, I was surprised in that moment how short that he was, and I hate saying that because I know that was a big sticking point for him, but I guess because of his masterful usage of video angles and the way that he just kind of captured things that you just never realized that he
and
was
those
that
great
short.
Cuban meals. I don't know.
Right.
He walked right by me this far, okay, and I was filming straight across. I wasn't filming down. I'm 5'10". It never really ever occurred to me he was so close to me and that he was substantially shorter than I was.
See, I've never found him short at all, but that's just
yeah.
No. Well, tell us about that, Dwayne.
I'm 5'6". So I always thought he was, that's a stature on that guy.
A towering figure.
Towering figure.
That guy plays basketball.
No, he was. He really was. It was amazing to be that close to him. I mean, I never spoke to him. I don't think I could have ever spoken to him. But, I didn't meet any of the people. I never have. Apollonia. Yeah. I mean, I've met him on Facebook and stuff, but not in person. We were complete fans, just documenting the moment.
Yeah, wow, and we actually have, and I'll have to put this up on Facebook because I don't want to take away too much time, showing videos all night. But Tony, actually, for those who just joining us, we have Dwayne Tudol, author of Prince and the Purple Rain Area Studio Sessions, and we also have Tony Blass, who is a videographer and documentarian. I'm going to make up a word. I love it. And he actually captured a lot of footage from the Purple Rain premiere that we played at the beginning of the show. Also, we have a special guest that is waiting in the wings down in the bottom here. I don't think he's got video, but we will bring him in too because he was actually part of the whole Purple Rain process as well. And please welcome Wally Safford in the house.
Hey. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
What's up, Wally?
Hey, Dwayne, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing, sir?
I can't complain.
I'm glad to hear that. Glad to hear you're around. This is great.
Man, Wally, it's good. I guess he's kind of going in and out. But
No, I'm here.
Okay, you dropped off for a second.
Yeah.
Wally, you weren't at the premiere, but do you remember what you were doing during that premiere? I mean, obviously you were part of the whole Purple Rain filming process when they were filming the movie. But what were you doing on the night that you weren't able to make it at the premiere?
I think I was at home.
Just chilling.
Yeah, just chilling.
That's not an exciting story at all, Wally.
Just hanging out.
Well, no, I was just tired from the tour.
Yeah.
Because he had the triple effect. He had the number one movie, he had the number one tour, and he had the number one album.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Busy time.
It just so happened, Chick and Gilbert and Hucky was there at the Chinese Man Theater.
Yeah.
I just like I said, you had the Martha from MTV.
Martha Quinn.
Martha Quinn.
Again.
Yeah, Martha
I never
Quinn.
noticed she's short either.
Yeah, you had because I was looking at the video footage because it had Sheila E. and Eddie Murphy, and Eddie Murphy was clowning.
Yeah, he was. He was clowning quite a bit.
Really.
Yeah, him and Little Richard.
Yeah, at the post show. Matter of fact, here is a little clip. Let me show this clip from the
Live coverage from the Palace in Hollywood continues. Celebration for Purple Rain. I have three amazing artists here with me. Eddie Murphy, Sheila E., Little Richard. All these people have just come from the film. Why don't I start with you? How did you feel about it? Did you like it?
Well, what I felt about it is, Prince is, what I felt about it, Prince is an old friend of mine, and he's me in this generation, he's me for looks, you know that though. Michael Jackson is me, the Beatles was me, all of them are me, you know that. And so I had this Bible made especially for Prince and put his name on the bottom of it. I wanted to give him this lovely Bible and this beautiful book called Steps to Christ. Let him know that God cares for him and God loves him, and God gave him that wonderful musical gift.
Thank you, the one and only Little Richard. Sheila, you saw the film. What did you think
Eddie's
about
holding it together.
Thought it was great. I mean, there's no words to explain. It was really good. I'm really proud of him.
Now, you've known him for quite some time, haven't you?
Yeah.
Is this an autobiographical movie or not?
It's up to you. Whatever you think.
Whatever we think?
Yes.
But you know.
So, it is. Sure.
What things are close to home in the film?
She is so hardcore.
Everything.
A woman of a few words. Now, you have a co-credit on the vocals on Let's Go Crazy, right?
No, on Erotic City.
On Erotic City, I'm sorry. So you've worked with him before. Do you plan to work with Prince again in the future?
Yeah, probably. We're going to start working on a couple of things later on this year. Yeah.
Okay. Sheila E., thank you very much. Mr. Murphy. Eddie, you just saw the film too, right?
Yes.
You want to tell us what you thought about it?
Well, I feel like Prince is me in this generation.
I
am. You should ask someone that has a non-biased opinion because I'm a Prince groupie. And Prince should come stand like this for 2 hours and I'll go, yes! So you should ask someone else. I love the movie. I think it's unbelievable. I think the man's a genius.
You're a James Brown fan too, aren't you?
Yeah, well, James Brown is me in this generation.
Have you worked a Prince impersonation into your act yet?
I got a lot of different stuff I'm doing my act next time I got on the road. It has to be way too.
We're gonna go to commercial in just a second. You got a half a second to do your Prince impersonation for the first time live.
I gotta wait on that one to next.
What about James Brown?
Gotta wait on that one too. I did that already.
You did,
Go to
James?
commercial. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
What I love the most is Eddie Murphy just ripping on I don't know what was going on with Little Richard, but
subtle. It's always subtle.
Rest in peace.
Well, the awkward thing is I almost wore that same thing Eddie Murphy wore to my first thing. So it's been really awkward. But,
I had it on, and Jeff Page made me change.
I did because I was gonna wear it.
All of us showing up in the same outfit.
Well, see, Eddie Murphy was me at the time, you know.
In this generation.
The generation was.
Exactly.
So Wally, did you get when did you get an opportunity to actually see the movie Purple Rain, the finished product?
I think I saw it in Detroit with my brother-in-law Billy Sparks, and the rest of the Purple Gang crew. Because when we shot the film, I was already in Minnesota. I told Billy them Prince wanted him to come to Minneapolis. Because we started shooting in September. We started shooting in September, so I was with him the whole duration. You know, I was security wrangler. I was an extra in the movie. You know, I did some everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know.
And did Prince ever communicate to you what, how he felt about the movie? Because one of the things that I heard regularly. Jeff Page, real quick. How's my mic? Am I too loud? Am I too? Okay, good. Okay, good. I heard regularly is that Prince was obviously very, very concerned about people's perception of the movie because there's a lot of things that are through the movie that could potentially be cause for concern. And I know he was worried that Siskel and Ebert would rip into it. But did he ever communicate with any of his friends? Because I know he spoke to you privately on a lot of different, what he felt about how this movie was going to work out. I mean,
well, actually not really, because like I said, the routine was, me and Chick picked him up in the morning at the Purple House, and we took the limo to the set, but the whole time, we talking in the limo, Chick driving, and he was playing the music. Like the Father song, the Father in the Hallway song.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh wow, that sounds good. And then he played I Would Die for You, and he was just playing different parts of the soundtrack each morning. Cause you ride in a limo or a car with Prince. Excuse me, you gotta have some headphones on.
Yeah.
Or some earplugs. Because he got that system on 10.
Yeah, he loves to play. That was one of the big testing points for him with any song, is that he loved to play it in his car. So he would always go and play it in his vehicle and drive down the road and just kind of get the vibe for it. I've heard that.
Yeah, he'd be driving a black Beamer with lamb covered seats. And he got that bass, and your shirt just jumping off your shirt just jumping up off your chest. And it was something.
So when you saw the movie, what was your takeaway? Obviously, it's a great movie. We all know it was a great movie, but what was your immediate takeaway when you saw the film? Did you have any? How did you feel about it?
Well, I felt that it was a great concert movie. Because it's the opening of the movie, it was breathtaking.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
So Dwayne,
it was breathtaking.
Dwayne, when did you get an opportunity to see the movie?
That summer. It was the date movie of the summer, and it was one of those ones that you knew if you took a girl to this, it was a better opportunity than to have a great night than going to, some dumb science fiction thing. It just, you're looking for something that's going to make you want to dance. It's going to make you go out to a club. And this music just, you leave the movie energized with the music and everything like this. And you just, it's infectious. And I was living in a resort town in Maryland that summer, and it was Ocean City, Maryland. And it was just this great, I must have seen it 4 or 5 times that summer, just because it was not only just a good movie and enjoyable at the time. It's not aged as well. I mean, I will admit that there's elements of it you're going, that's a little awkward now. But things, I was only a few years older than you, so it was still, it was my. I mean, I knew of Prince before that from Controversy and 1999 and stuff.
Same.
Right.
But it was like that was here, and it's like, whoa! It was huge. I just remembered, everything that summer was Prince, and I knew that I could never dress like him or never act like him without looking like a fool. And so I just, and I think that I knew a lot of people that tried to. A lot of my friends would try to do that, and I was like, no, stop that. But it was, boy, that was the summer. And I never thought, when I was watching this, the idea that I would end up writing a book about this stuff and knowing some of these people and considering them friends, and make so many friendships like you guys based on this, it's just nuts. So yeah, it's just I think it's another way Prince brought a lot of people together in a way that nobody else saw. I mean, it's great. I mean, I love going to a Prince event now, knowing that you guys are all probably around the same age, but have seen this stuff. We like the same music. We have the same stuff in common. But that's you created a family. And I think that's something that people kind of overlook sometimes, is how much of a bond, that, and I'll tell you, for example, Wally and I have talked on the phone, and we'll just talk, and
yes.
it's just like about all this stuff, not necessarily about Prince, but that's just because we know we have that much in common already. And it's really something. I mean, it's me being a nerd, but I have to. I take the thing I get most out of this is the interpersonal relationships I made with people from all this stuff.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing that I think being a Prince fan has done for a lot of people, is it really has caused a lot of people to gravitate towards each other, the strays of the world, if you will, and just kind of. I mean, the friendship and the camaraderie of Prince fans is just unparalleled by any other artist that I can think of.
Yeah,
for sure.
in a lot of ways, we're like the island of misfit toys. And I've used that example before. But I always feel like a lot of us are just like, I don't fit. And then we get together and we're like, oh, yeah, there's a Charlie in the box. Oh,
I do fit here.
I do fit in. Thank you. And it's just nice knowing that you got a bunch of people who kind of accept you for being a little more artistic, or a little crazier, or just having funny ideas.
Well, all I gotta say is, you better not say nothing bad about the man, or they're gonna go crazy on you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's true.
They're gonna go back. They're gonna go back shit crazy on you.
Oh yeah. Well, there's also a lot.
It's like to me, they will not let this man's soul rest.
It's true.
Right.
I think there's a lot of people that do think they do know what Prince thinks. Oh, Prince wouldn't like that. Prince would like that.
Yeah.
And I didn't know him, so I can't say one way or the other. I unfortunately never met him and never had anything to do with him. So I can't say what he would like and what he can't. I can only guess. And also Prince would change his mind a lot of times. He'd say something on a Monday, and by Tuesday or Monday afternoon, he's changed his mind about what he wanted to do.
Oh my God.
I
just on the road with him, I just went to sleep with my clothes on. Because he's a night owl.
Right.
His vampire hours is like from 2 a.m. till sunrise. And then he would sleep for 6 hours and he'd back up at it. Now, my thing was on the movie set, my enjoyment, God rest his soul, Clarence Williams III. He was only in there for like 3 or 4 days. Did this thing and got up out of there.
Wow.
He got in there and got out.
That's that's crazy. I didn't know that was. This is the most interesting thing that I know about this movie is that, and some people don't know this. But one of the more interesting things is that again, Prince was so concerned about the fact that people were going to just rail on this movie. And the movie overall got really, really great reviews, which, I mean, you know, again, he said he had nightmares that Siskel and Ebert were going to trash his movie. He said, I dreamed those two guys on the TV were reviewing the movie and that fat guy was tearing me up. That's what he said. But the exact opposite happened because they said they have made a first-class picture that is expertly done at every level. Kurt Loder from Rolling Stone gave the film some pretty high marks, and he had some interesting quotes in it too. He said, "This must be the first rock movie in years in which drugs are never mentioned, let alone used, and in which alcohol is depicted very subtly as a personal hindrance, but not a high, and that characters spend most of their time working, rehearsing tunes, and running through routines in a determined effort to make something of themselves. Rarely has the work ethic been made to seem so cool."
See, I'd never read that before, but to me, that shows what an influence he had on the picture when it came to this. Because I never even thought about the fact that this is a lot of rehearsal and practice and getting ready. Yeah, I know he was going to play the Prince character, the kid. But no, you think about how much of this is him preparing for the shows and whatnot like that. That's amazing to me.
Now, a lot of people don't know this. The film was originally called Dreams. A lot of people do know that. And Warner Brothers was willing to put some good money behind it if the lead vocalist in the movie would feature John Travolta instead of Prince. And this is not a joke.
Right.
Prince obviously refused, so they reluctantly let him have his way, but with a much smaller budget. And while that sounds crazy, the film's director, Albert Magnoli, actually confirmed it. He said that, yes, John Travolta, they were trying to push John Travolta in that lead role. And that, to me, is insane. When I first heard that, I said, there's no way this is true. There's no way this is true.
Coming off the film triumph of Staying Alive, I mean, I can't imagine why they would have objected to that. Okay, so I gotta riff off what Wally said as far as it being a concert movie, because so much of it is that. Seeing it at midnight with a sold-out crowd, and my friend and I had gone to the Palace to film the arrivals at the party and stuff, and they told us we were going to get in there, and we didn't. So, and then we had to drop off the equipment. So we were actually racing back to get there by midnight, and every seat in the place was full. So there were 2 seats literally in the first row. I don't know if you have been in Mann's Chinese. It's huge. And the first row is really close to the screen. So the thing was, everybody screamed through the entire movie. It was literally like being at a concert. So that is what is seared in my brain. That night where it's so large, I can hardly focus on the entire view of it. And then with people screaming the whole time, it was so exciting. And I really think it was so absolutely effective in that way that, you know, it was, the drama was great because everybody got to settle down for a few minutes, you know, like a slow song in a concert, you know, but otherwise it was literally screaming the entire time. You know, so exciting.
It's funny, we're talking about the live stuff. By the time they got to doing the live stuff at First Avenue, they were behind schedule already. And this is Magnoli's first movie, and pretty much everybody in it, for the most part, what the main characters were all first times. So they were like terribly behind. They realized that they were shooting the performance, like Prince turning, okay, and then cut, do another thing, and they realized, wait, we could just shoot the performance. But the other part about that is it was lit for a concert show, and the concert lighting and movie lighting are 2 very different things.
Yeah.
And so they had to reset everything. But once they figured out to do this, they got not only ahead of done schedule, they got ahead of schedule, and they were able to shoot each performance several times and be able to cut back and forth between them, which made things a lot easier. They didn't realize they could rush through that. And I think that's kind of fascinating that I never thought about the lighting. And that's one of the reasons why on things like the Syracuse show, the lighting's a little difficult because it's lit for a concert, not for a video. And that's why blues and reds and purples often bleed in the pictures on old, especially on VHS tapes. And so it's
somebody had said, and I can't remember Dwayne, you're probably the perfect person to answer this. Who was the gentleman that was responsible for that lighting in the movie?
Well, Roy Bennett did the lighting for
Right.
For the concert parts. I don't remember what the name of the cinematographer was.
Because what Roy did.
Well, the cinematographer was Susan Rogers.
No, cinematographer for the movie for the film clip.
Yeah, for the lighting at the concert.
Yeah, I don't remember who the DP.
Well, Roy Bennett, what he did with the lighting at the concert, you know, the way that it was filmed, concert footage had never really been captured that way. There was something the way that he did it that made it very rich. I mean, even on crappy 80s, it was just very, very rich and vibrant. And it was just, nobody had ever seen concert footage that way. I mean, and we've seen, you know, we're all childs of the 70s, and we've seen lots of concert films, but nothing quite like this that captured it in that way. It was kind of like the first time you ever heard Boston and on their guitar, the guitar work on Boston is like, whoa, that's like really out front. And it's the same type of thing where you're watching that, you know, it was just really, it was really cool. And it really broke ground in a lot of ways. And I think that's, you know, there's all these really cool points about Purple Rain that a lot of people didn't notice. Like Dwayne, you were just talking about the review. And when I first read that review and I wrote it down for the show, I didn't think about that either. There was no drugs being used in the movie. There was nobody was getting drunk at the bar. I mean, the scenes where Morris and Apollonia are at the table and there's drinks on the table, but it was just for the scene. It was just, you know,
he's dipping in the alley and stuff like that. But it's in a bad way. It's not to make him creative. It's actually bringing him down.
Right.
Well, exactly. And when he tries to make a move on Apollonia and he bumps the drink and it spills on the table, it's like, and she's like, "Oh dear."
No, you're right. That's absolutely right.
It like focuses on the destructive nature of intoxicants as opposed to, you know, celebrating it, which is really crazy. That's just
well, and when you think how they combine the concert footage with those scenes, I'm thinking of The Beautiful Ones and where he's talking to Apollonia from the stage with that red light, and she's reacting to him, and Morris is devastated by him basically putting the moves on her in song with the conference, the concert footage. That's what was so amazing about it. It was almost operatic in that way.
I also like the fact that he still included Dez, who is no longer with the band, doing Modern Air in there. So you're going, this is fantastic. And you see those of us who knew who Dez was, you know, big thing, were like, okay, he's in this. So you got the new stuff with Wendy, you got Dez, you got the time, even though it wasn't the time that a lot of people knew. But I'll tell you, most people did not know, because Purple Rain got so big, they didn't realize. I mean, people come, I've heard interviews with Jimmy and Terry who said, people talk about us being in Purple Rain. It's like, we weren't in Purple Rain. You know, and that's interesting.
They were fired right before it.
Just before.
And that opens up, that's what the tour, the thing from the tour bus about Morris Day, that's what it's all about, is how he had to go on with the movie without his bandmates.
Right.
Well, and that was the other thing too with that, Tony. For those of you just joining us, obviously I'm your host, Mr. Christopher with Funkatopia Live, with my illustrious co-host Jeff Page. We also have Mr. Tony Blass, who was actually at the premiere and shot a lot of the great footage that you can see on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and you search for Purple Rain premiere, Tony Blass is actually a videographer who was actually there. We also have the amazing, the one and only, my good friend, writer extraordinaire, Dwayne Tudol, for Prince of the Purple Rain era studio sessions with all of his lovely details. And also we have Wally Safford in the house, who is in Purple Rain. He was Prince's bodyguard, and he has stories for days and days and days.
Hey, everybody. Hello.
But you know what? Another thing I found interesting about this film, you know, wait, somebody was about to say something before I interrupted. What was it?
I'm sure it's vital.
Well,
Phenomenal.
Right. Well, I'm gonna tell y'all this. this y'all probably didn't know. Now, you know, First Avenue, it was pretty much white. It was white audience, right? So
right.
So when they did Morris and them with Apollonia 6 at that club over at the Taste, they had to recruit blacks to be in that club.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, they had to recruit some blacks. Matter of fact, they went and got this guy, longtime friend. He's from Chicago, but he moved to Minneapolis. Scotty Parham and James Bryant, who used to be Morris's bodyguard. They had to recruit blacks to be over there at that club. I mean, it was some whites in the crowd, but they had to recruit more blacks for that club for Sex Shooter.
That's insane.
That's wow.
You know, has Prince ever had a predominantly black crowd? I mean, I've seen him 27 times in concert, and it's always been predominantly white. But I did not see any concerts before 1999 was the first. 1999 was the first tour that I saw. Even in his early days, it was all predominantly white?
No,
it was a mixture.
Yeah, I worked in a club where they were doing it, where they did the Dirty Mind tour, and it was a disco roller rink called Flippers in Hollywood. So, and they performed in the middle of the roller rink, and that was mostly, I think it was mostly white disco roller skaters.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been a mixed crowd. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's always been a mixed crowd, but never to the point. But that's
and
really
I was on
crazy.
my way to see the Controversy tour at the Santa Monica Civic, which is about 1,000 people. Santa Monica also being a very sort of wealthy suburb. But that's when that's the night I got the job as the videographer. So I missed the show. So yeah, my first show was 1999, even though I've been into him for years before that.
Yeah, I got hit pretty hard with Dirty Mind and then Controversy, but I didn't get the chance to see him until 1999, and it was by
15.
Yeah, and it was I didn't buy the ticket; it was actually given to me, and I was taken to the concert. And I was just too young to really kind of appreciate what I was seeing. I wasn't in that, got to watch concert mode. I was in 15-year-old.
That was an amazing concert, though. Let's not forget what that was.
It was a great
75 minutes, and I had never seen a concert where it was literally mixed from the first beat to the last beat, and it was just like the video.
Well, his concept of the revolution, he had a mixed band. He had a mixed band. He didn't want to come off as all black.
Right.
Well, until the NAACP came down on him, and they told him, he don't have enough blacks working for him.
Well, I never heard this story. The NAACP approached him about that?
Yes, they did, sir. Yes, sir.
Wow. I never heard that.
Did.
Well, see, because now Prince crafted his band
like
towards
Sly Stone.
like Sly Stone.
Yeah.
So that was a whole point of that was to kind of cater to everybody. But I didn't realize the NAACP stepped in.
Well, that's how me, Greg, and Jerome and Brooks got into the band.
What?
Wow.
I'm learning all kinds of new stuff tonight.
Yeah, we was the dancing security.
Right, yeah. That's just crazy to me. I didn't know. So
and they didn't like that we were up front with him.
Wow.
The band wasn't too happy about that.
Well, I've got an NAACP story about Prince.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. All right. Tony
the
Blass.
owner, I don't know if I'm allowed to tell this, but it's been a long time. So
let's do it anyway. So you're good.
Julian Bond is a CEO or emeritus, and this was in the 90s. His daughter Phyllis was obviously a huge Prince fanatic. She lived out here for a few years, but her home was Atlanta, and so she knew Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis very well, or whatever. But when Prince came to town, she could get she could get all the way backstage and all the way to meet him. And so he invited her to the his penthouse. And he said that she should call him from the outside house phone outside his door. Let him know when she was there. So she got there at like 11 or 11:30 or something, and he talked to her all night long on the house phone. She fell asleep in the hall. He kept waking her up and saying, "Are you still there?" She'd be like, "Yes, I'm still here." And it was very sweet because at some point, like about 7 a.m, he said, "I think you probably should go home now." She's like, "Okay."
Oh, wow.
And she was gorgeous, by the way. I'm just saying.
You don't got to go home, but you got to get the hell out of here.
You got to get the hell out of here. He's like, "Do you really want to come in?" She's like, "Yes, I really want to come in."
I have a very similar story to that that's not Prince related at all. Was this girl that lived across the street from me in New Jersey when I was 19, 20, and she called me on the phone and we were talking on the phone, and it was late at night and I fell asleep. And at 4 o'clock in the morning, I woke up, and this is like 3 hours after we had started the conversation, and we didn't have wireless phones. It was just a corded phone, and it kind of slid across the floor, and I went to pick it up and I realized it wasn't. And I said, "Hello?" And she goes, "Oh, you're awake." And I said, "What?" She goes, "Hey, I was just listening to you snore." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "I'm going to let you go now." She goes, she's like, "I'm listening to you breathe." And I'm just like, "Okay."
Well, she's making sure you're still alive.
I guess so. She was just listening to me. But, yeah,
What was she reading?
I don't know.
Was she reading this?
Was she reading that?
Yeah, it should be.
So let's talk a little bit about some of the details about this movie. The movie cost $7 million to make, made $70 million, so a tenfold return is pretty good, for sure. We did lose a lot of great artists during this process. We lost the great screenwriter William Blinn. Who is this picture right here, who passed in 2020, he was not only one of the screenwriters for Purple Rain, but he was also a screenwriter for Roots as well. We also lost, obviously we had just mentioned this, we also lost Clarence as well. Clarence Williams III, who died in 2021, and now many didn't really know who he was before this movie for the Prince fans. Yeah, but he was already well established as an actor in the legendary Mod Squad. The General's Daughter, Reindeer Games, and he was in Half Baked too, by the way. So lots of TV and movie appearances. Obviously, we also lost Chick Huntsberry, aka Chick in 1990. Just a lot of. I mean, he actually has a book that he wrote a lot about his travels with Prince called White Slave. You can actually. He was basically, and he wasn't talking about that. He was talking about cocaine.
With this picture, I want to make sure when the guy behind him, that's his one shot of fame, and he's looking like. It's like he wants to show everybody. Look, I got a picture with me and Prince. Oh. I'm going like this.
There I am. You could have been technically photoshopped.
He's got that on his wall. Guy's got that on his wall. That's my fresh with fame there.
Yeah, but what's crazy is that Clarence Williams III, who played Prince's dad, Olga Carlatos, who played Prince's mom, and Apollonia, who obviously played Prince's love interest, were the only professional actors in the entire movie. And technically, if you check IMDb, Olga, Prince's mom in the film, only did like 3 or 4 more appearances on some TV episodes, and then she retired, just disappeared. Apollonia, not too different. She had a run on Falcon's Crest shortly after the film, about a half a dozen other appearances in the 90s and whatnot. And I mean, but she hasn't really done much of anything at all.
She's doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes now.
Nothing that's documented at IMDb. I wish they would update it because I would love to see some of the stuff that she's working on right now.
And she's got her podcast right now, but she's been doing a number of things behind the scenes where she was producing a few things for some, I think some Spanish TV and things like that, as I recall.
Well, now here's something else that maybe some people didn't or may or not have known. It's a well-known fact that Vanity was originally supposed to play that lead role, but she decided against it and it was offered to Apollonia instead. But what some people don't know is that also considered for this role is a woman by the name of Jennifer Beals, who some may remember from Flashdance. This is a picture from Flashdance. Beal turned down the role to study at Yale, and she is doing fine since she has a regular part on the HBO show The L Word as Bet Porter. But do we have any Star Wars fans out there? Because if you do, you may recognize her from the Book of Boba Fett, where she plays Garsa Fwip in the Book of Boba Fett, who is, she is the manager of this club in the Book of Boba Fett. So that's the girl from Flashdance, but she was considered for that lead role.
Yeah, but he dated her too.
I did not know that.
Okay. Of course, you did not know that.
I did not know that.
Well, at the club in L.A., what's the club? It was
Vertigo.
Vertigo?
No. It was up under. It was
over the Beverly Center.
Yes, it's up under.
That was
up under the thing.
Voila.
Yeah, it was members only. You couldn't. I think Prince didn't have a membership. His manager, not Steve Fargnoli, but the other one, Cavallo.
Bob Cavallo.
Bob. Yeah.
Yeah, Bob and Ruffalo. Joe had it. Joe had the membership.
Would you really need a membership if you're a Prince? Would a club say you can't come in here, sir?
Well, it was a club restaurant.
Yeah.
It was a supper club and a restaurant. So,
is it Voila? Is it Voila? Voila.
I can't remember the name of the club.
Okay.
But it was under the parking structure of Beverly Center.
And so he took her there. They dated there a lot.
No, I think the club was Tramps. It was called Tramps.
Okay.
At the time, it was called Tramps, and so over in the little section, had a little dance area, and so me and Prince used to go there, and he told me to go pick up these girls that walked in the door, invite them over to the house, right? So this is a funny story. Johnny Carson walked in. And he have his hands in his pockets and be leaning back.
Yep.
He walked in, and both the girls grabbed his arm. He said, "Wally, what happened?" I said, "Johnny's wallet was bigger than yours. his wallet crushed your wallet." He said, "Oh."
Wow. Oh my! I did not know that they dated. That's crazy.
Yeah. So Jennifer Beal was in the restaurant, but then she came over into the club part, and they sat and talked. I mean, everybody would be in there. Simon Field, Sylvester Stallone, Bridget Nielsen, you name it, they would be in there.
Wow.
I mean, Sylvester Stallone is real short.
Not to me.
So,
I keep saying this. I don't know what's going on.
He ain't too much taller than Prince.
I don't see it.
Well, and this wasn't the only sticking point in this movie. Obviously, was trying to find a leading lady, because during that process of trying to find that role, ultimately settling with Apollonia, they did hit a brick wall, since many of the women that had read the script were just appalled by it. I mean, the overwhelming consensus was that they were talking about how misogynistic it was. I mean, and you can't really. I mean, let's take a look at this.
Who do you think you are? You know I waited up all night for you. I'm so tired of you doing this thing. Who the fuck do you think I am?
Jerome.
Woo! so I mean, that's obviously just a taste of some of that. I mean, Albert Magnoli said that women who read the script said it was the worst thing that they had ever read. I mean, and I think that when they were writing this movie, you know, they really captured some of that, the pimp vibe, you know, and if you really think about it, everything about this period of music and the backdrop for this music movement was definitely very misogynistic. I mean, wouldn't you think? I mean, I don't know why I'm asking. I mean, because it definitely was. I mean, Grace.
That ain't Lake Minnetonka.
I have to say though, after that scene, I can't. As many times as I'd wish I was somewhere near a dumpster and could do that to somebody, male or female, just wanted to walk up and throw someone in a dumpster after that.
But I think that he took all those things and he like definitely made it so the time was the one that kind of was the time was the one that kind of was allocated those types of things. I mean,
I don't know.
He made her jump in a lake that wasn't Lake Minnetonka.
And
well, no, he tried to stop her. He tried to stop her.
But he did slap her.
He said, "What?"
He slaps her in the movie. He does.
Yes.
So
yes.
Yes. I think the thing is interesting about it is it's an unrelenting, unflinching look at that kind of stuff. And yes, it's very misogynistic when you look at it in retrospect. But from what people have said, this is sort of the thing that was going on at the time. So it was kind of not documentary at all, but just it was looking at that period. Those are the parts that didn't age well, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, we shot that scene. It was like the crack of dawn, and it was cold outside.
Which one?
That when he said that's not Lake Minnetonka.
Oh yeah.
And we shot that at the crack of dawn, like 3, 4 in the morning, as the sun was coming up.
Yeah,
and the water was freezing. So on the movie set, the cameraman Craig Chenault, he was the cameraman, and the girl from Falcon Crest was on there. She was there. She was on the movie set as well. What's her name?
I can see her face.
Anna Alicia.
Who?
Anna Alicia plays the other young girl at that time.
No, not Annalisa.
Is it
Morgan Fairchild?
Morgan Fairchild.
Yes. That was Craig Chenault's girlfriend at the time.
Oh, wow.
That's why she was at the premiere.
Yeah, she was at the movie. She was on the movie set the whole time.
Wow. Yeah. So we actually have the little clip of the slap for those who have not seen Purple Rain. I don't know why you're here, but here's the slap.
What?
I'm gonna join Morris's group.
Now, obviously, that's a shocker.
Yeah.
Now, the biggest thing is, you know, the overarching issue with this is that everybody was really upset about this, and especially his good friend, Stevie Nicks, who was at the premiere. And as many know, Stevie Nicks and Prince are very, very close. But when she was at the premiere, when she saw that scene, Stevie Nicks got up from her seat and went to the bathroom, ran out and ran to the restroom, and never came back for the rest of the movie. When Prince asked her why she was gone, and she told him why she had left, I guess she was a victim of some abuse as well, domestic abuse. Prince was just devastated because he had never intended to hurt her or anything. The result of which they wouldn't talk for like a really, really long time. So I think this is like, you're right. Tony, you're right. And Dwayne, you're right too. This movie doesn't age well in that regard, but
the thing, remember, this is a movie, and this is not Prince doing that. It's a character.
Correct.
Well, it's written to be like this. So that happens. He then almost slaps her in the alley. So there's a lot of this character that he's playing, and is him playing a character, not Prince doing this, is not Prince. And I have to make sure people understand this is, it's like being mad at David Prowse for blowing up a planet in Star Wars.
Right.
And that's not how it works.
Yeah. Well, it's about integrity of what he was trying to convey, and the message wasn't showing that he's just this person, even though that's what he was doing, but it was about what he was getting from his father that he had to come out of.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it was like he grew up in it, and so until something happens, he was becoming that. And so that's the takeaway from that. It's not just, hey, this is just who I am. It was like, well, there's a history for that. And, somebody's going to have to wake up.
Yeah. Arlene is right with what she's saying there. It's a plot narrative that shows the growth of him toward the end. And you realize,
oh, yeah, there it is.
This is what he's done. Arlene's so smart.
Yeah. Yes.
She said it better than I did.
Oh, she's great.
Right. And then, of course, the other thing that's kind of going on behind the scenes, and one of the things that we saw, Tony, in the footage that you got from the premiere was Morris Day when he comes up to the MTV stage and they're saying, is Morris Day at the time going to tour? He's like, well, we don't want to talk about that.
I love that.
Because what's really, really important for a lot of people to know is at this point in time, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis had been fired from the band, and the band that you see in the movie, which I will admit, when I saw the movie, I was not paying attention to the individual members of the time. I just looked at it as a band. That part did not connect with me when I saw the movie at 16. But Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis had gotten fired, and they had hired some other people to step in. St. Paul Peterson on the keys. Dwayne, who else was?
Rocky was on.
Right? Rocky.
Yeah, and so in the movie it was Jimmy and Rocky were in the movie. But Rocky, I think, got fired right after they did that. So when they played,
No. Actually, it was St. Paul, Jerry Hubbard, and Mark Cardenas.
Yes, but Jerry Hubbard was in. Jerry Hubbard replaced Rocky. I think Rocky was there for the first day. Maybe he didn't. That's right. Rocky only played the show. Rocky only played the show in October of '83.
Yeah, but Rocky was with Jesse's band.
Right. But he got fired because he was late for the thing, from what I understood. And Jerry, you're right, Guardian. Jerry took over for him. So,
well, if you guys even believe anything about the Mandela effect, at some point you're going to watch Purple Rain, and Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis will be there. It's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. I could have sworn this.
But
they weren't. We talked about this.
Well, speaking of Terry and Jimmy, they get inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in September.
As they should be.
Okay, that's great.
Exactly right.
It's a little late.
It's about time, right?
I see what you did there.
So I think the original band should play, but it's a little discrepancy there.
I'd love to see it.
Well, again, I don't think that there's any problem with. I think the only person who really has this kind of weird contention thing is Jesse Johnson with that whole mix. Not really getting too far off the Purple Rain track, but Jesse Johnson stepped away because he was very, very frustrated at the time. And just that they wouldn't tour, and not back then. I'm talking about currently, like in the 2000s. Now that we're talking about current stuff, because when the original 7 whole debacle happened, Jesse Johnson literally stepped away because he was very, very frustrated at the whole situation, that they were not booking shows, they weren't getting out there and touring, they weren't rehearsing, and he just like, all right, I'm going to go work with D'Angelo for a while, and off he went. So I don't think Wally, I think you bring a good point. I think that the time I think a reunion would be great, but Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis also have a lot of other things on their docket as well, with maybe a full reunion along with Janet Jackson coming out, along with the SOS band coming out, just showing, just having like this big reunion of all of Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis's work. I think that would be fantastic. That would be.
That's right. SOS band is the one they got fired over.
Right.
They got caught in a airplane. Right. They came back late.
They got trapped in this little town right here, ATL.
Atlanta. Yeah, exactly.
They were here because Atlanta does not handle snow at all.
Right, of course it does.
And so that was actually the time that I got to meet Jesse Johnson, when we had a little bit of an ice storm, and his band couldn't even get around town, and he ended up playing like it was a trio. It was Jesse Johnson and a drummer and a bassist, and they sat and played to 25 people at Lonzel's.
Yeah.
And I was one of them. I was so happy. But we don't handle snow well. But that ultimately did get Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis fired, because they could not get out of Atlanta to get back to where they were supposed to be, and Prince just cut them loose. And that's ultimately what caused all the problems with Morris on the set, because I mean there were times where he was refusing to show up. He would
Right. They had to go find him every day. Is what
They said that he was under the influence a lot of it. Wally, you were there. What was some of the things that were going on with Morris that maybe we haven't heard?
Well, Prince sent Craig Rice and Alan Lees to go get Morris from his apartment. Well, he was kind of bugged out because, that was his band, and Prince fired Terry and Jimmy.
Right.
I guess he wasn't too happy about that. And, Terry and Jimmy, Prince, they was in Atlanta, the ATL, working on the SOS band, Take Your Time.
Do it right.
Yeah, so
sorry.
But Prince flew them to Lakeland, Florida in a private Lear jet and fired them right there back because when they walked back, when they came in the back door, they looked as scared. Terry was, but Jimmy didn't. He said he was cool with that. But here go the issue, and I don't blame Terry and Jimmy for working on with SOS because Prince wasn't paying them nothing anyway, and they had to play twice.
Right.
They
behind Apollonia. Yeah.
Right.
They had to play behind.
Three.
They had to play behind Vanity 6.
Twice, right?
They had to play behind Vanity 6, and they had to do their show. So behind the curtains, Prince and Jesse be back there battling on the guitars. They'd be back there battling,
Wow.
Prince was kind of afraid of Jesse, because Jesse could play.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
Really play.
There was a lot of weird contention going on. So there was a little bit of reality between the warring of those bands. I mean, we've heard all the stories about the food fights and Jesse Johnson being handcuffed to towel racks and things like that. But
and like I said, out of all the people in the band, why would it be him? He threw a cream pie in his face while he was on stage. and Prince said, "You better not bother my set, or you're gonna get fired." So after his show was over, and at the Riverfront Coliseum in Cincinnati, Terry and Jimmy went and got a bunch of eggs. Oh, they was throwing hard. They was throwing Terry and Jimmy Terry was throwing like he was like Josh Gibson or somebody. He was throwing them eggs hard at Prince.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Prince could dish it out, but he couldn't take it.
I mean, it was funny, but but see what if y'all look at the whole story, Prince was only doing to them what was done to him with the Rolling Stones. They threw stuff at him and all of that, and like I said, he swore that that'll never happen again. Because Rolling Stone fans, they don't want to see nobody but the Rolling Stones.
Right.
They don't want to see nobody, not Prince. And especially you got a guy in some bikini underwear with some leggings.
That was a weird pairing anyways, really.
Yeah.
Oh, it happened here in LA, and I remember it very well. It was an all-day festival, and I had told my friends to look out for Prince. He's the guy, he's the man. And they came back at work and they were like, "That guy in the bikini underwear and then dancing around," and they bottled him. They sounded happy about it. It was
I worked with
scary.
My era with Prince was from 79 to 87.
Good era.
I didn't. I was with Prince when he wasn't talking to nobody. Only he was talking to me, but he wasn't talking to nobody else. His managers, they had to come to me and ask me what kind of mood he was in. I said, well, if you look in his eyes, he ain't had no sleep. It's not a good day to talk to him. It's really not a good day because he hasn't had no sleep.
Which was usual.
No, not all the time. Not all the time. Except the rehearsals. You know, he now back to Purple Rain. Now that scene with the house, you know, where his father got shot at. That was just the outer shell, but that actually the basement, all that was on the set in the warehouse right there on
Fifth
and right there
Five?
right there in Eaton Prairie, right up from the warehouse where he had his studio. That's where they shot that at. They shot that was right. You know, I mean, because, you know, Hollywood came to Minneapolis.
Yeah, it did. Well, I'd also heard you were mentioning the Lake Minnetonka scene, and they tried to shoot that 5 times, and that, you know, Apolloni was having I heard that they finished that scene
in L.A.
In L.A.
Yeah. Yes. Well, you know, his stunt double was Brad Olson.
Prince's stunt double?
Yes, the guy that was
the motorcycle work.
Okay.
Yes, because you know, Brad, he passed away, but Brad, he played in the movie Scarface. You know, he was one of the shooters with Scarface, but he passed away. He was a stunt man. So see, Prince's bike was not a clutch; it was an automatic. Now, if you remember in the movie when he was riding down that trail, you heard the clutch. You heard the guy popping the clutch.
Right.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, that was Brad, but you only saw the back of him. You never saw his face.
Oh, wow.
Question for you guys: that wasn't Lake Minnetonka, was it? That wasn't Lake Minnetonka.
That was,
I don't think it was. No,
Lake Calhoun, I think is what it was.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think it was Minnetonka.
Well, that's a city of 10,000 lakes.
Right.
Yeah. Now, there's a couple other interesting points about the movie. I had no idea. Even though Prince and Morris Day are the leaders of their respective bands in Purple Rain, and obviously some of the 2 core focal characters are the leaders of their band, in the entire film, Morris Day says only 13 words to Prince the entire movie. I don't know if anybody was counting. Well, yeah. How's the family being? How's the family being? 3 of them.
That was cold.
It was really cold.
Yeah. So how's the family?
In the alley when he calls them names in the alley.
Right. You purple faggot, I think is what he calls them or something.
Long-haired.
I think they've actually edited that because I seem like maybe I watched it on TV and they made
he said you long-haired faggot.
He said I think it's something like that. Yeah, but if you watch the TV version, I think they edit that because I guess that's hateful language. But they leave the slap in.
Well, how many words did Brown Mark have?
0.
Oh, okay.
One or two shots.
Brown Mark says absolutely nothing. We know what's also interesting. You know how many movies that Prince says to Morris in the movie?
None.
What?
0.
Prince
never addresses Morris Day in the movie at all. They never have a discussion. They never talk. You can replay the entire movie in your head. Prince never addresses or talks to Morris in the film.
So that you find out Morris was dead the whole time. Kind of like
right. Well, see. Well,
that's a good
like he was a ghost the whole time.
He sees dead people.
He sees dead people.
Well, he was talking to Billy to Morris.
Right. Yeah, but
he was talking to Billy to Morris. He heard Morris got a girl group. You know anything about it?
Yeah.
You know, he said no.
Yeah, but there's no direct dialogue going on between Prince.
I never noticed that. I never noticed that. So everything they have, everything against each other is almost on stage. They're battling on stage.
Pretty much.
It was more about the work again. There's not a bunch of, you did this to me. It was nothing like that. It was like, I'll play this better riff than you. I will top you on this.
Right.
That's interesting.
I'll show
and
you.
even when he talks to the band members, he's using the puppets some of the time, right? Most of the time. Why should he do your music?
He talks to Wayne and Lisa a bunch of music.
That's my impression. Thank you.
You got to do it again. Do it again. Come on. Why should we do your
Why
music?
should we do your music?
Yeah.
He's doing fine without it. He's
Next-
doing fine
next
without
thing-
it.
Next thing you know, we want to be riding your bike.
You get it.
Now, Jeff, are you in Minneapolis?
No, I'm in Atlanta where dandruff causes car accidents.
Oh, you down there with the one with Chris?
Yep, I'm here with Chris.
Yeah, myself and Jeff Page are in Atlanta. Tony, you're in L.A., right?
LA, where rain causes accidents.
Right. Or if you can get from one place to another without sitting in traffic, right?
Right. If we ever had rain.
And Dwayne, are you in California? No, you're
Not
in.
at the moment. I'll be in California later, but I'm in Colorado right now.
You're in Colorado right now. And Wally, where are you at right now?
I'm in the Detroit, Motor City.
Yeah. There you go.
The 313, Rosa Parks Avenue.
Nice.
That's the 313.
Nice. Yeah, I used to live in New Haven, Michigan. So, right, I actually lived in the projects of Detroit too, in 1975. I think I lived in the projects of Detroit. So all the memories that I have of Detroit weren't great memories. They were very violent memories. I got in fights like every single day.
Now, what projects you lived in?
I will find out what the name of the projects were, and I'll get that to you. I don't know right off the top of my head.
You said New Haven?
Yeah, I spent some time in New Haven too.
Yeah, that's downriver.
Yeah, so I spent a couple places in Michigan, but yeah, I'll definitely get you this project name.
I'm from Boston. Boston.
You're from Boston.
617. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I'm from Michigan too. I was in a little town outside of Detroit in '75 called Milan.
Yeah,
the rest of the world calls it Milan.
Milan.
Milan, you know that little place, right? Out there by Ypsilanti. And
yes.
It's now a suburb of Detroit. In those days, it was a little.
That's where the Milan prison is at.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Okay.
They got some work finally. Good.
That's not why you were there, Tony, was it?
Well,
I was your age at that time.
I
mean, 15.
Tony was in juvie at the time.
Well, I knew about the prison because I wouldn't play ball with my brother-in-law there.
Okay.
Well, here's some other little tidbits about the movie, so we can kind of get back on track here with this. But this is a picture you all know. It's Wendy and Lisa.
Yes.
Wendy and Lisa were actually in a relationship. That's not a secret. But they actually had a passionate on-screen kiss in this movie, and then they didn't. So, Purple Rain originally featured a kiss between them, but it was pulled from the final edit of the movie. I don't know if you knew that. Also, we had already talked about this. Brown Mark is the only member of the Revolution who does not speak in the movie. Even Dr. Fink. Dr. Fink made that little joke about the periods getting reversed or something. There was something like that, some other misogynistic thing.
More misogyny.
More misogyny. Yeah. So, and here's something else. This is kind of interesting too. Like many movies, when the film features a couple, there is normally some spin done outside of the movie to make you believe that they are actually romantically involved in real life. And they spin it to make it look like there's actual chemistry beyond the screen so that you'll go and see it. So, maybe if you can unravel where in the movie that drove them into each other's arms off screen. And most of the time, it's a ruse. I mean, sometimes it works out like Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, Will Smith and Jada. Oh, dang. I should have moved that section up with that to the slap section. I should have moved that up to the slap section. I destroyed
You're waiting for that. You're waiting for that joke. You're waiting for
I
that joke.
destroyed a perfect segue. Anyway, in the case of Prince and Apollonia, though, Prince Apollonia was actually married to this guy, Greg Patchell. And he was an MMA fighter named Greg Patchell, and she was sworn to secrecy to hide her marriage. But they divorced in 1985. I can't help but think that her on-screen chemistry with Prince had something to do with that. I mean, If you think of about all of their scenes of intimacy in this movie, I mean, when he's behind her and they're on the bed, it's just, I mean, but of interest, talking about the sex scene in the barn, Wally, were you there during the filming of that scene?
Yes, I was.
Okay, so obviously the biggest rumor and speculations was that there are 3 versions that could be culled from that, I guess, section that was recorded that could range from PG to MA. And the biggest rumor was that they were actually doing it. That they were actually doing it. That's a personal rumor that I personally have heard multiple times. And what was they? But obviously Apollonia said they were wearing their underwear, so she kind of said. But tell me about this scene.
We saw that. He was working around the underwear.
Yeah, that was. Tell me about the barn scene.
Well, at that time, Apollonia was dating David Lee Roth.
Oh, well, she was married to Greg Paschal until they got divorced in 1985.
Yeah, but she was dating David Lee Roth while she was on Purple Rain set.
Oh,
but y'all didn't know that. But y'all didn't
Scoop
know.
delicious.
Wow.
I knew that they had a thing, but I didn't realize it was.
But y'all didn't know Apollonia go both ways.
I don't think I knew that.
Okay.
It fits perfectly with my imagination of her, so yeah, I'm not going to fight that.
Okay, well then I have to ask about Lisa and the blonde girl who, Jill. Is that the girl from
Jill
the
Jones.
Automatic?
Yeah,
This Automatic video. Were they together before?
Before Wendy came into the picture?
Yeah.
No. This,
because they're playing the keyboards together in one of those songs.
Yeah, well, no, Jill was up there singing.
A-U-T-O-Matic. A-U-T-O-Matic. And that's a great video.
She was helping her with the vocals.
Yeah, I think Prince always kind of wanted to create this vibe between them that they were so very, very close in the film, in the filming and the videos where to make your mind wander, he wanted you to believe certain things. And he obviously pushed that agenda with Wendy and Lisa, who were actually a couple, so it wasn't a stretch. Lisa had a big crush on Wendy. They were friends. Yes.
With Jill Jones, he wanted to transform her into Marilyn Monroe.
I think that would have been a great idea. She was close. What happened?
Well, like I said, on his tour bus, he watched a lot of Marilyn Monroe movies.
Yeah.
Some Like It Hot, 7 Year Itch. I mean, he watched a lot of her movies.
He was a big cinema buff.
Okay. Yeah. So he got that idea. He wanted to change her into Marilyn Monroe.
I think that would have worked.
Could have.
But then he got involved with Wendy's sister, right? Around that time.
Actually, before that, yeah.
Oh, before that. Wow. Well, Wally, could you just tell us about all his girlfriends? Just go ahead and just list them out.
We do not have all night.
Oh, okay.
He dated Madonna.
I knew that for a small brief period.
He dated Jennifer Bill. He dated
Kim Basinger.
Yes, Kim Basinger, but he also dated a girl from Miami Vice.
I don't remember her actress from Miami Vice. I can't think of.
Her name is she was Gina. She was Gina on the show.
Sandra Santiago.
Yeah, Sandra Santiago.
What about Susanna Hoffs? We gave Manic Monday to.
Well, we was flying back from London on the airplane. He gave her that song.
Okay.
Because I was sitting next to her, but he wanted to change seats. He wanted to talk to her, so I was like,
Wally, get up.
Get up.
No. He didn't say that. He just said, do you mind changing seats? I'm like, no. I was looking at the bass player, the redhead.
Wally likes the redheads.
Michael, yeah. I think it's her name.
I was looking at the redhead, the bass player.
Oh, my gosh. Well, going back to Apollonia and the barn scene, here was what Apollonia had said to Sunset Sound, who actually has a really, really cool channel on YouTube if you look it up. But here is the clip from what she told about the barn scene. It's only a minute. Here
But that scene was very, very tame. Al was there, and we had Donald Thorin. It was a small crew. We were both terrified. I was perspiring profusely. You could see it in the photos. And Prince wore, undies, and I had, undies. And I remember, Al says, I just want you to lean in and just kiss. And that was it.
First time you kissed him then? Was on camera?
Yes. And we kissed, and we were both nervous. I was just terrified. Those kind of scenes aren't easy to do.
No way.
And especially, with someone like him. And the beautiful thing that I have to say is that in all that time I was looking at him, he kept his eyes on my eyes, nowhere else. He was professional.
Was he nervous?
Yes. We were both terrified. We were trembling. We were scared.
Yeah. So that's a little bit of the background on that as far as the barn scene is concerned. So any rumors that you hear otherwise about there being actual sex in that thing?
Well, he didn't. If you look at the scene, he really wasn't trying to kiss her at all in the mouth.
Right.
Because the rumor he heard.
What did he hear? Go, come on, Wally. Go, do it. Do it.
Here we go.
Here we go. It said he had herpes.
Oh my God. All right.
Let's move on.
Let's move on.
I love that she said undies, though. Undies.
Yes, undies.
She said, "Oh, we both were sweating," and she said the whole time he kept his eyes focused on me.
Yeah, I appreciated that she said that, acknowledging how difficult that might be for somebody to do. Eyes are up here.
Well, it's funny, Apollonia. Well, she's trying to put a book out.
Right.
Yeah,
a tell-all book, and like I said, her stories is, talking about something. She was supposed to be the last dragon over vanity. No, you wasn't.
Well, we're going to find out. Well, apparently there's a bunch of things that I would have loved to have Apollonia on the show tonight. Obviously, I did try to reach out to her because not for any other thing, but I know that this book is going to apparently unravel a bunch of things that happened during that time period. From I guess, like you're mentioning, things that of contention between her and Vanity and the lemon cake fiasco, all this stuff that's going to be unraveled. And so it's going to be interesting to read because it's anyways, to kind of go back to the movie, I'm surprised though that considering how these movie companies put these couples together, I wonder why Prince and Apollonia didn't come together. I mean, I guess that was kind of a little bit of a surprise to me that they didn't, they're a couple in the movie. So you would think that the producers would want to play on that to a little bit,
You mean arriving at the
arriving at the premiere.
Well, arriving for a premiere, you're going to want to have people come in waves. That way you can extend the amount of time there. So you're going to want to have Apollonia. You want to have different Morris. Now Morris wasn't invited, as we know, but
I did not know that.
No, Morris was not invited to the thing.
What was this? Are you serious?
Morris had to get his ticket through Pepe, I think, as I recall. It was
from Pepe Willie?
Yeah, I think, as I remember hearing, there was he was not technically invited to the thing, but he still paid for his own way and did this.
What?
But what they did was having different, and any premiere you're going to have, you're probably not going to have the leads show up at the same time, because you want to have them go through the crowd at one time. Like any award show, you don't have everybody coming at one time. You have them coming into the stages. That's about producing an event like that.
Yeah, well, you see a lot of romantic movies where it's focused on a couple. A lot of times they will come together and they will pose together and they will, sometimes you do see them with their actual husbands and wives, but
this is also Prince.
1984.
This is also Prince because you're not going to share the spotlight with Prince. Period.
That's
but
true.
Did you see Stevie Nicks walked in right ahead of him?
I didn't notice that. Yeah, but
I shot it, and I have never noticed it until
This
tonight.
is the thing. You're not going to have
He's
anybody
right in
walking
front
in
of him.
with Prince. You're not going to have Prince would outshine anybody that he comes in with him. So
yeah.
you're going to have him be the one that comes in that's probably wrapping it up almost. Is they're waiting for Prince to show up. That's and after he shows up, people will change the channel, whatever. They're there for that, and so that's why.
And we only got like 15 more minutes here, so I want to make sure that everybody who's may have tuned in late, I haven't done this interruption yet, as far as the housekeeping, I guess is what they call it on Clubhouse. But obviously, Mr. Christopher and Jeff Page were the host of Funkotopia Live. We also have videographer and documentarian Tony Blass, who most of you have seen the Purple Rain premiere footage. That was shot by Tony Blass, and he's here with us, so he was actually there. He's the only one among us that was actually there. And obviously, we have the amazing Wally Safford, who was with Prince from 1979 to 1987. He is in Purple Rain. He's in Sign of the Times. He's got, again, Prince stories for days. And
also the family.
And the family.
And the family.
Don't forget the family.
We would never forget the family. F Deluxe, by the way.
Yeah.
The family when you were with him, obviously.
The Flux.
The Flux.
The Flux.
Yeah.
The Flux. The F Deluxe capacitor.
We did one show at First Avenue and the only show.
I know.
It was like, oh my God.
And also author extraordinaire Dwayne Tudol from Prince and the Purple Rain era studio sessions. He's got another book that's even more amazing than that one. You got that one to hold up, Dwayne? He also does. This is
I
the
carry them
other
around
one.
with me all the time. They hurt my back. They're so big.
Oh yeah, that was the reason why. That's the reason why I told you I have no joke. I have 3 copies of this book because I had this. Then we went on a cruise and I didn't want to carry it. And so I bought it on Kindle so I didn't have to do this. And then you came out with a paperback version that had more information in it, and I had to buy that one. And I'm like, you're killing me. You're killing me, Smalls.
Sorry, man.
That's okay.
Sorry about that.
It's all good. Tony, you got to get that book. It's fantastic.
I gotta get it.
Yeah, but I mean, so many great, iconic. I would love for the audience that's here to kind of tell us what their favorite moments of this movie is, but I'll kind of do a little bit of a round robin here, starting with Jeff Page. What was to you the most impactful moment in the movie, like the part in the movie where you were just like, I'm a Prince fan for life. This is it's something that really connected with you in the movie.
Oh, that's easy. That's easy. In fact, Wally touched on it. He mentioned it. It was the opening of the movie, the beginning of the movie. I've been a Prince fan already since Dirty Mind, and so I already knew Prince. But when that movie started, and just that whole opening scene, to me, he suddenly became larger than life. It was like, that's it right there, and that actually convinced me to get more serious with music, to continue to move with what I was already doing, because I saw that and I was just like, hands down, that's it.
Yeah, it's a great one. Tony, what's your favorite?
Oh, it's really hard to do that. All I can say is I love the scenes with Morris. I enjoyed Prince. I love the concert. I love seeing the concert recreated when I saw it from the 4th row 3 or 4 times on the tour. Fantastic. But in the movie, I really felt like Morris stole the show. And my favorite scene is I put something together hot and a kid is out, right? Mr. Schemer, him in the do-rag doing the vacuuming, and then in the limo, that beautiful yellow limo. I wanted that limo. I wanted a driver. That's my entire life has been focused on trying to get to where Morris was. So.
I want to see some asses wiggling. I want perfection.
I think I'm going to need a drink.
And I see a couple of people.
Wait. Keep the change. Jerome, get my change.
The password scene is coming up quite a bit in the chat room. The password is what scene?
Ooh, what?
What? Yeah.
And when he spits on the shoe, he doesn't get mad. He just says, "Watch it now."
As Pamela says, my favorite moments in the movie are Prince performing on stage, all of it, and the end shot when he turns to face the camera. Obviously, that's great. Yeah, it's classic. Dwayne, what's your favorite takeaway?
I agree with Jeff on this one. The opening is, you got to remember, the opening is also the opening of the album, the tour, and the movie. It's that big. It's gospel with, dearly beloved, we are gathered here, to rock, to blues. And you actually, by the end of that song, the funny thing is, if you watch, that song is just the only performance he does right then. It's like he does one song and he walks off stage. I don't think bands really do it like that. But in the movie, you're worn out by the end of that song. You're just like, God, absolutely, I need a shower.
And that's the 12-inch too.
It is, exactly. And so that to me is one of my favorites. I have to admit that the cool thing for me in looking back is how we grow to know each one of these people that are in this. This is a small budget show, a movie that was done, in a small town and in away from everything. And now you still, Apollonia, just the name Apollonia, you know exactly who it is. That has maintained for 40 years. Jill Jones, we know. Morris Day, we know. They were all introduced to all these people in this. And still to this day, each one of them is still, somebody that, whether you're a Prince fan or not, most of these people you do know. People, you can say Morris Day to somebody, you can say Apollonia to somebody, and they go, I know who that person is. I like them in this. And I think that kind of introduced us to a lot of people and a lot of the interpersonal relationships that were going on there. But it's definitely the live stuff. I mean, like Stacey says, the opening gets me. And it's just, when he plays like this and then goes into the band, going the lighting from behind, the shadows, it's just, it's the beginning is flawless because you're introduced to everybody. You're introduced to Morris doing the vacuuming. You're introduced to Apollonia in the, apparently there's a hotel across the street from First Avenue I didn't know about. And you're introduced to that. You're introduced to everybody in the film that's going to, impact the story. And that's just well done. I mean, and you remember the other thing is this is, like I said, Al Magnoli's first movie. And it's to have a movie that your first movie is such a cultural icon, a touchstone. We all remember that. And you could say Purple Rain still. And even when you watch things like 8 Mile, you go, wait, wasn't that Purple Rain? And so it really does. It's still the color purple. You look at not the movie, but just the color purple, everybody thinks Prince.
Well, the other thing I liked in the movie was when Apollonia took the earrings to go get that iCloud white guitar.
Yeah.
Because Canute Capet had did those guitars for him.
Man.
Canute Capet, but
is that how it's pronounced? I've never heard it pronounced. I always thought it was Newt.
It's Canute Capet.
Okay, thank you. I just always wondered what that was.
Such a cool name.
Yeah,
I would walk around telling people my name all day long. What's your name? Canute Capet.
Canute.
Hi, I'm Canute Capet.
Nice to meet you.
You don't know me. How much was that again?
But when Prince got the record deal, when they went to L.A. when he got the record deal, Andre, this where it all started at. Andre wanted a bass with it looked like the iCloud bass. He had the iCloud bass, and when Andre left, Prince told him he wasn't taking it with him because that he bought it. It was an iCloud bass, and I'm trying to think of the video he plays it in. I want to say it was Uptown or one of those songs.
Was it that early? Or was it? I thought it was what's it? Deep Mountains. What do you play on Mountains?
No. Brown Mark was there. Andre wasn't with them.
No, I'm talking about where I seen that guitar.
Oh yeah, It was in Mountains. Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, that's so that was your favorite part of the movie was the pawning.
Mountains, he didn't play no guitar at all. He was just on that green pad, floating through the clouds. running with that big sombrero hat on.
I'll have to rewatch. I thought there was scenes with he had a guitar. But what's
no. Miko had the guitar. Miko and Wendy.
I got to do my homework. Wally, what was your favorite? What was your favorite part of Purple Rain?
My favorite part when I was on stage doing the my 5 minutes.
Yeah, that'd be mine.
Yeah, me and Brooks doing the bird up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you and Brooks got your parts got much bigger inside of the Times.
Yeah. Right.
Well, I had my own movie.
Yeah, you're right. That's right. Yeah.
Hard Life.
That's right.
That's right.
That was my Denzel debut.
Yeah. For those who don't know what Hard Life is, Hard Life was a I guess a film project of sorts of Prince's that he had done. The music was mostly Madhouse material. But you can find it on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and search for Hard Life or Prince Hard Life, and you'll find it. And that was
misdirected by Prince.
It was it said in the credits it said misdirected by Prince. And there's actually a scene. Who gets it's Brooks that gets in a fight with Dr. Fink's mom at the beginning of that movie.
Exactly. No, it's me. It's me.
I thought that was. Oh, it was you.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that movie in a while.
So it's 6 minutes of fame, not 5.
I'm Puff.
Yeah. So
Puff Daddy stole my name. I was the original Puff.
Wow. Let's see what other people. I guess Adriana. We got some other people talking about their favorite moments, but Adriana did ask why wasn't Morris invited to the premiere. I don't know that we ever got to the bottom of why wasn't he invited to the premiere. Why? I mean,
from what I understand, they had separated by this point, and this is also after '84's after the thing that just floated around recently with the Minnesota music thing where they showed the time on stage without Morris. That just got posted. That was really fun. And so what happened after the Time album was complete, Morris went to Los Angeles and Prince stayed, up there, and they weren't talking much. And a lot of people think that they were talking, had struggled during the movie, but the movie was over and they still recorded the album after that. So he was around for the spring of '84, which is after most of the movie was done. And so he and Prince still maintain. And during that time, you can still hear him doing things like Tricky and things like that. So they were having fun. They actually were good friends. They just had struggles, and they, like all good friends do. They may have times where they're close and maybe times different. But he supposedly, and this is what I've been told, was not invited to the premiere.
Yeah, you're talking about all that work.
It's crazy because he's this. One of the co-stars.
Yeah, the B-side Tricky, Chlorine Bacon Skin, all that stuff was still. Now, the reason why I was smiling so much, because it just dawned on me that here it is, Morris Day is not invited to this premiere. And the amount of balls that he has to not only say, screw that, I'm going. And then as he gets there, he hops up on the stage with MTV. Remember, he's not invited.
Yeah. They don't know this. I think
MTV is not. I don't remember reading that, but he was not invited to it. He hops up on stage with MTV, does a little bit of a thing. I mean, Prince has got to be. I don't know if he saw. I don't know. Now, Tony, you were. I just think that's hilarious. Tony, you actually went to that post party. After it, was Morris there at the post party as well?
I did not see him arrive there. No.
Now in your footage, I did see Jerome in the footage.
Jerome, yes, and I mean, other people may have arrived in different ways or earlier. I have no way of knowing, but I didn't see him in any of the footage, and I didn't see him.
And you did a lot of footage on Morgan Fairchild too. She was there.
Wasn't that great with the cameras flashing?
I'll make sure that I post that video on Facebook with the credits for Tony on the bottom because I don't want to eat up too much time on that. Sweet. But it was really cool because The footage inside of the party was really, really short, but Tony stayed outside and actually filmed the audience as they were waiting, to see him go in and to see him come out. And they're just kind of, all the people are freaking out. And I don't think a lot of people have seen this video at all. Like, it's not out there on YouTube. It's not anywhere.
Yeah, YouTube took it down 11 years ago.
Yeah, well, we're going to put it back up.
Yeah, right?
See how long you can keep it.
We found like a little circumvent with YouTube's stuff, but they're a lot less of a pain in the butt than they were.
I like when the crowd was yelling, "We love you, Tony." We love you, Tony.
Now, what can I say? It was a great night.
Oh man, it's a lot of fun. But anyways, before we cut all of you loose, I do kind of want to do a little bit of a round robin to kind of see what you guys are doing right now, how people can connect with you afterwards. Tony, what are you doing now? What's I know you're still doing some film and stuff.
I'm acting actually, and I'm going to be doing a film leaving it for Sweden in September. I have the lead in this guy's first Swedish movie. So acting was always what I wanted to do, and it took me a while to get back to it. And I'm Hollywood Tony. I'm at anything you can boo. Just put a / Tony Blass, except TikTok. You have to put Hollywood Tony Blass. Otherwise, I'm on the socials, and I'm, just having a good time. What can I say?
Well, and all I can say is thank you so much for capturing that footage at the premiere of the Purple Rain premiere, because I mean most people would only see the MTV version, and for some reason that is in some type of ether world. They only show like little teeny edited clips, and you can't find anything anywhere. So we have to live.
Thank you, MTV, because that has gotten me so many sales in Canada and UK and other places where they're making documentaries about Prince or 1984 or the club, and they come to me for that footage, which I guess they could take for free, but they don't. So it's nice of them. They shouldn't.
That's awesome. Well, you deserve it because you were in the right place at the right time.
Complete fluke.
Hey,
yes.
Exactly.
Well, you are a Prince fan, so you can.
I am still to this day. Can I just say one thing about Prince? I always thought I appreciated him, and I've seen him in every decade. And my favorite album is actually 3121. But honestly, I now know that I never appreciated him. I only saw 2 of the 21 shows at the Forum. And for the life of me, I'll never understand what the hell was I doing the other 19 nights.
Yes.
I still cannot fully understand what a genius he was. And I just can continue to watch One Night Alone or whatever, always find something else. It was just, we'll never know. And you know what? His other movies were better than people said they were at the time. It was like, oh, it's no Purple Rain. Yeah, you know what?
Right.
Everybody tried to constrain him. I think they were afraid of him. And I'll say one more thing. The Love Sexy cover freaked a lot of people out. It scared people. It would not scare people today, but it did scare people then because it was
massive. It was crazy.
It was crazy. And that album was so wonderful. And that tour was so wonderful. And he didn't do an encore on our night in Los Angeles because he was mad because the audience was shit. So I'll just say that people did not, even with all the hits, all the whatever, people did not appreciate.
What night did you go?
I went the November 17th.
Wait,
or I think it was the 7th, 8th, November of 87. It was the first night, I think. Anyway, he didn't do an encore.
Which tour? Which tour are we talking about?
That was Love Sexy.
Love Sexy.
Oh, okay.
Now, the lights went up on the All 7 tour in 92 at Amphitheater, and we left, and then he came back and did 45 minutes. That's my bad for...
Sounds like Tony and I were at a lot of the same shows.
Yeah, well, I went to the Third Eye Girl show. That was the last time I saw him. And I was so heavy at that time, and standing up for 3 hours, it was unbelievable.
Yeah,
we stood online, and then we stood for the whole show.
That's my big regret is not being able to see the Third Eye Girl iteration. But I was lucky enough to be at both of his final concerts here in Atlanta. So
nice.
That is so what he stopped. That was the last tour he did in Los Angeles. Was Third Eye Girl in 20 whatever it was 13.
But Third Eye Girl, I just love the sound. I love that Montreux show that he did with them. It was just so raw and so it's just so gritty and powerful. I would have loved to have seen that iteration of him. But again, to see him on his very, very final 2 shows that he would ever do, and to have him call me out, call Funkatopia out on April 15th, 2016, just 6 days before he died, to point people to the Funkatopia website to read the review that I had done on that show, was one of the high points of my life. He had tweeted and Facebook posted before, but I didn't realize the significance of that last post that he would do. And it was just like, it's such a powerful moment. But yeah, Tony, thank you so much for coming on the show for sure. Yeah, and it's again, Hollywood Tony, you can find him. You can find him.
Hollywood Tony.
And look for him because there's going to be a movie that's coming out. Some Swedish movie is going to be coming out, and he's going to be there. Dwayne, what are you up to? You're on book 3 now, right?
I am working on book 3.
First off, let me ask. This obviously covers all the stuff with Purple Rain and everything. The other one, which is right here. This one actually covers Parade, Sign of the Times, but it also covers the Black Album. It also covers Camille. It also covers a bunch of other stuff. What in the world does this third book cover?
Would be 87, 88, which would cover Love Sexy, the Sign of the Times tour, Love Sexy tour, Black Album not being released.
Okay, yeah.
Madhouse 8 coming out, Madhouse 16 being done. Jill Jones' album coming out. You get the idea.
I forgot. I got to send you, because Ingrid Chavez has been on the show 3 times, and I have lots of material from her. So I forgot I got to get that to you.
Yeah, I just did it. We did an interview with Ingrid through a friend named Scott Bogan, who interviewed her for my next book. So anyway, that's the thing I'm working on with that. The paperback, I have an announcement of the paperback for the second book coming out soon.
Is it an expanded edition also?
It's. I'll give you a little bit. I'll tell you a little bit about it. It's not necessarily expanded. There's additional information in it, but it's because I got some great additional information to it. But there is an extra part to it, which I'll talk about, not quite yet, but soon. But it's not. I didn't want to do another expanded book because it's a lot to do, and this is also 700 pages already. I'm probably being sued by people because of backaches.
So fantastic! It's both these books are so. You have to go to Amazon and purchase a physical copy of the book. There's nothing like holding these physical copies in your hand.
You'll crush your chest though when you're reading it. Oh, my ribs!
For those who are anti-gun laws, you can use these as weapons.
Exactly.
It's just such a fantastic book, and it looks like it's a lot of information, but I always Kit, every single one of those little things that you see in there are bookmarks that I have in this book. It's one of the most fantastic books ever.
Thank you. You've always been very kind to me about the thing, and you've told me that there's stuff in there that you didn't expect to find, and new stories, which is great because I know what a historian about him is. And I think a lot of things that when I do these things is I'm trying to find the truth and trying to find as much and make it entertaining at the same time. And it's sometimes tough because stories contradict, and sometimes, but I've been fortunate enough to have people like Wally that way, yeah. And people like that talk to me and kind of guide me. This is the story. This is what's happening, that we're in the room. And I think that's the things some of these things I don't know for locking down certain things, but I can listen to the people who were there and put that in there. Sometimes people contradict. I mean, I've had people say this happened and other people say this happened. So I kind of try to put both in there and say, you know what, they were both in there and they should be heard. And I think that's the vital thing is the people that were there should be heard more than me. I should not be telling you my opinions in this thing. I should be telling you the stories that the people told me and researching to make sure they're as accurate as possible.
That's one of the things that I admire the most about these books is that they're as factual as you possibly can get. It's coming out of the mouths of the people that were actually there. They're telling you the stories. You have actual documentation on folders and stuff of records and whatnot. But it's just fantastic.
And I'm also one last thing is I know we're about out of time. I want to make sure get Wally's book. Go out and get Wally's book.
Get Wally's book for sure. I have.
Yes.
I'm telling you, so Wally's been great to me, and I'm everybody that's interviewed with me has been honestly, you're like family to me, because there's times that I've called Wally and said, or reached out to him saying, I'm not sure how this fits. Tell me. And Wally's held my hand and walked me through some of this stuff, and that stuff is to me. People like Wally and people like Apollonia and other people that I've talked to, Wendy, at least the Revolution, they realize the historic nature of making sure this is documented properly. And to me, that is the biggest thing, is the craving of people that are working on this stuff. And I may have the name on the cover, but it doesn't mean that I did this by myself. And that's what I want to make sure that all the people represented, that are the people that I interviewed with me, people that do transcriptions for me, people that research, there's about 30, 40 pages in the back of people I'm thankful for. And they know me personally. And I want to make sure I always stress, these are the people that really worked hard on this. And that always makes me very happy that there's such a passion for that kind of stuff. What are you looking up?
I wanted to make sure, because I don't have a physical copy of Wally's book. I bought it on Kindle. So I wanted to make sure that I was able to show it. It's the name of Wally's book is Wally, Where'd You Get Those Glasses? My Life Through the Lens of Parliament, Pendergrass, and Prince. For those who don't know, Wally was not only with Prince from 1979 to 1987, but he was also did some work with Teddy Pendergrass and Parliament, and there's a bunch of other folks in there as well. So he's got stories for days, and that's his book right there, Wally, Where'd You Get Those Glasses? And there's also, can they still get T-shirts with Wally, Where'd You Get Those Glasses on it?
I only have a few left. I don't have a lot of shirts left.
He'll give you the shirt off his back.
Yeah, he'll give you the shirt off his back.
Yeah.
Take it.
Well, I'm waiting for the movie director, Tony Bliss, to do the movie on my book.
You got to get in touch with Albert. You have some ins with Albert at this point, don't you? You got to. I mean, come on.
Albert Magnoli.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen that guy in years.
Yeah, I think he'd do it. I think he would do it. Yeah, but I didn't mean to cut away Dwayne. So go to Amazon, search for Dwayne Tudol, just like it's spelled right here. Duane Tudol, Tudahl. Just look for his books. All of his Prince books are fantastic.
The traditional spelling of Tudol, yes.
Right. I guess so. You say so.
Okay. And also, you can find me on Facebook, and I have a group on Facebook called Prince the Complete Studio Sessions Book Series. And please join that and reach out to me, say hi. Some people send me a friend invite, but they don't say who they are. And so I see these things, and I'm like, I don't know who this person is. So just write me and say, hey, I like your books or something like that, and I'll know. Because I never know who people are, and I always want to make sure I know the people. So please.
Yeah, and definitely make sure you get on his mailing list so you can kind of let you know when this third book comes out, which I'm going to be waiting with bated breath, because you can obviously see the homework that I do with this. Wally, your book is still available, still on Amazon, still can buy physical copies, and whether is there a best place that people can go to get your book?
You can get them at Amazon. You can get them at Target. You can get them everywhere where books are sold.
Okay.
Man, look at you, Target.
I love Target.
Target.
Excuse me.
Yeah, you know, you can
The
go
French.
to Target. You go in and order the book, and they will send it out to you.
Nice.
That's awesome. Okay.
Well, gentlemen, I cannot thank you enough for all of the time that you guys have stayed on. You guys didn't have to stay on this long, and I greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, what the hell? The hell? I was trying to get out of here.
Goodness.
For a break, and it didn't happen.
So for this part of the show, we will say goodbye to all of you guys. Jeff Page and I are going to stay on just for a little bit to kind of tell some Funkotopia stuff that we did not do for the beginning part of the show. But Tony Blass, Dwayne Tudol, Wally Safford, gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging
Thanks,
out.
guys.
Thank you.
And happy
Appreciate you
anniversary! Happy anniversary to Purple Rain and to all the stars of it, and everybody that's in love with this movie and music. So that's why we're here.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so
guys.
much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
We'll talk.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, what a phenomenal show. That was so much fun. There are so many stories in that mix.
Man, what can you say? Like that was gold all through the show.
There were so many things that I learned, and I'm not going to be able to unlearn.
You're in for a surprise.
Every time Wally's on, I get new tidbits of information. I'm like, I didn't know that.
Goodness.
Okay. All right. And every single time Wally's on, I have to say, yeah, I got to edit that now.
Right. We can't. Oh no. What do I do?
I seem to be burning one bridge after another with Apollonia. That was my fault.
She was almost coming on.
I hope that all of you guys had a great time. So much stuff going on there.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening next Tuesday. Now, we've been kind of doing these shows every other Tuesday, which is kind of working a lot better for probably both of our schedules, just because it takes a lot of prep time to make sure that we get a good guest on, that we're putting out good quality shows, and that there's a lot of information. There was 18 pages worth of information, and a good chunk of which we didn't even do tonight.
Couldn't get to it.
We couldn't get to it. So what I can tell you is, unless something happens from this Tuesday, we're probably going to skip another Tuesday, like we did last time. But I do want to say that there will be something that happens between this show and the next show, and that is that I'm going to be doing the album chat for you. Again, yes. I'm going to be doing the album chat live with you guys here. So we're going to talk about the history of the album, everything that was going on, all those preliminary things that were going on between Prince and Warner Brothers. A lot of stories that I missed, a lot of stories that I didn't even know about before. There's a lot of things that were a bunch of missing pieces with that album chat. Mm-hmm. So as I had mentioned before, some of you are huge fans of the album chats that we did. If you want to hear those album chats, we talk about the history of all the albums and every single song, what was going on with those songs, who was playing on those songs. It's really a historical journey down every single album. And you can listen to all of them now on patreon.com/Funkotopia. You can see it scrolling on the bottom. That's patreon.com/Funkotopia. You become a member, and you can listen to all those album chats. But as I was putting the album chats together, which are going to end up being on a brand new website at princealbums.com and also albumchats.com, where I'm putting it together now, one of the things I'm finding out was that I was not happy with some of the earlier albums from For You, the self-titled album, Controversy, Dirty Mind. I felt like those could have been done better. Mm. So I'm redoing those, and I will be doing For You live at some point between this show and the next Funkotopia live that we do, which is in 2 Tuesdays from now. But it will be done on Mixcloud, and we're also trying to figure out a way to put it up to the app as well. Right. So it's going to be it's going to be recorded. It's going to, because you can't do it on YouTube, because one of the things that we do is when we talk about a song, I play the song. Right. And YouTube will kick us off. Facebook will kick us off, so we just can't do that. Yeah, they'll murder it. Yeah, so we got to figure out a way to do it. We'll probably do it via Mixcloud, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And so For You album chat is coming somewhere in the next week here, and so enjoy and check it out. And yes, once it's done, Adriana is asking, will it be on Patreon? Yes, once it's done, it will be posted to Patreon. And then, of course, it will also be transcribed and put on album chats and princealbums.com, which is a website which I'm still putting together right now. I'm actually probably going to be redesigning it, but I had to do a bunch of different things to kind of make things fall where they were falling. So it's just a lot of fun. But
I've always enjoyed the album chats. I think that's just brilliant stuff. So this is going to be fun.
It's basically the culmination of brilliant work of other people.
Well, yeah.
But we got to still tell the stories and put them together in a chronological storytelling way, which is what the album chats are best at doing. So, yeah. So there's that.
Everybody loves the behind the scenes or the behind the scenes. And so, when you're doing that, that's just what it's all about, because that's what we want. That's what everybody wants.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and yes, I'm still trying to work on those album chats, and it's just a lot of work. The transcription of those album chats is the nightmare of it's the beast. It's the beast. It's the worst.
Yeah, I know you hate it. We've talked about it enough times, right?
Because those early shows were not scripted very well. Those early shows, there was a lot of and there was a lot of stammering and a lot of so I didn't script it. And
right.
I somewhere in this office is a book where I was handwriting all the notes, and when I would do the album chats, I would just look at the notes. I was like, I don't understand why I'm not doing this on a computer. Why am I not scripting this? That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
So it wasn't until 1999 that I totally changed the format, and then it became better. So that's the reason why I'm redoing those other ones. But you guys will enjoy it. It'll be a lot of fun. So expect an announcement about the For You album chat. I'll set a date. You guys can tune in on Mixcloud, mixcloud.com/Funkotopia, and any other place that we might be able to put it. And we can probably put it on the other podcast places. I don't know how they react about music, but
yeah, well,
SoundCloud too.
Yeah, that's fine. Of course.
But that's it, man. I hope you guys had a fantastic time. We're celebrating the 38th anniversary of the Purple Rain premiere. And it was so cool having Tony Blass on here.
It was great.
The fact that he was actually physically there and was actually able to see things. I will post that second video that he did from the post show, the after party that happened after that premiere, which is really cool. It's got a lot. It's not that long. It's only like about 3.5 minutes long, but it's got a lot of footage that he did with the people outside that were waiting. It was funny because a lot of people were saying, "Why didn't Prince talk to us?" And this one girl, she wanted to make sure she was heard, and she was like out in the back going, "'Cause he's stuck up."
Right. Like, come on.
She was being really over the top because he's stuck up. He doesn't care about anybody. He's just stuck up. It's like, that's not why. It's because he was panicking. He was losing his mind. There's no way that he could hold it together to speak in front of all those people. He was very nervous and very shy at that point. You couldn't tell it on stage.
Right.
But when he's in like those one-on-one where he doesn't have any way to control the conversation,
it's a different animal. Yeah,
it's a totally different. He was not comfortable with that at all. That's one of the things that I wanted to play and I forgot to play. Dang, I forgot to play this one thing that was the Academy Award. The Academy Award where, hold on a second, let me play this.
To qualify as an original song score, a score must contain 5 original songs.
Songs that serve a dramatic purpose, that move the story along.
So the nominees for Best Original Song Score are, for The Muppets Take Manhattan, Jeff Moss.
For Purple Rain, Prince.
And for songwriter, Chris Christopherson. And the winner of a brand new '84 Oscar is...
The winner is Prince for Purple Rain.
Woo! Yay, Prince! Yay, Prince! Woo-hoo!
I just love him.
I love you, Prince! I love you, Prince! I love you!
Prince is me.
Prince is me. Prince is me in 1985.
Thank you very much. This is Lisa, and this is Wendy. Hold it. This is very unbelievable. I could have never imagined this in my wildest dreams, and I would like to thank the Academy, Mr. Albert Magnoli, my manager Stephen, Bob, Joe, Bobby, Mark, and Matt, who couldn't be with us today, and most of all, God. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so that's all great and dandy, but here's one of the things that I've always found funny about this. He was up against Muppets Take Manhattan and Chris Christopherson. All right, so if you're the board, and you see these three things lined up, Muppets Take Manhattan, Purple Rain, and Chris Christopherson. Not for writing anything specific, just for writing.
Just for being an outstanding writer. Yeah.
It's just so funny. I mean, he won the Academy Award, but I think that I honestly feel like there needs to be a footnote.
It'd have been something to see Kermit walk up on stage to accept an award.
Yeah. If Muppets Take Manhattan,
you'll find us.
If Muppets Take Manhattan would have won, who would have accepted the award?
Muppets take an award.
Did they have a Kermit the Frog puppet sitting behind the podium, ready to accept? Like, was there a guy crouching behind there and be like, go there with the arms? That's my only problem.
Yeah.
That's my only problem. Yes, I know that Chris Christopherson was big back then, Stacey says.
Absolutely.
But I mean, when you look at the level of competition, it was just, I could see Kermit's arms just flailing. Yay! Oh my God.
Awesome.
Anyways, such a fun night. Had a great night. Thank you to Tony Blass. Thank you to Dwayne Tudol. Thank you to Wally Safford.
Awesome.
Definitely, you can pick up all their stuff. You can go on to Amazon. You can search for Dwayne Tudol. Again, that's spelled Duane, and Tudol is Tudahl. It's a traditional spelling of Tudol, according to him.
Don't forget that.
And then, of course, Wally Safford, Safford. Wally is just like it sounds, Wally. And you can find his book, Wally, Where'd You Get Those Glasses, where he talks about his relationship with Prince and also Pendergrass and also Parliament.
Right.
So it's a pretty cool stuff.
And all three of those guys, they're me of this time. They're me. So
they're me in 1985.
They're me.
For those who don't know what we're referring to, we're riffing off of Little Richard. I always wondered,
and Eddie Murphy,
if he was able to give that. Eddie Murphy was hilarious. And the fact that he did it with Little Richard standing right there, that's even funnier. I wonder if Little Richard ever was able to give that Bible to Prince, and whether Prince still has that Bible. I would assume he probably does, but I've never seen it on. I mean,
if he gave it to it, I'm sure he has it. Well, he might.
I don't know.
I mean, who knows?
I don't know. Little Richard. Little Richard is not the first person that comes to mind when I'm thinking about theology and I don't know. What do I know?
Wow.
I don't know much.
But I know I love you.
Anyways, good night, everybody. I'm so glad that.
Good night, everybody.
On that note, good night. Stay tuned for the For You album chat that will be coming very, very soon. And we'll see you guys. Thank you for tuning into Funkotopia Live. If you missed any part of the show, you can listen to it on Facebook again or YouTube. You can also tomorrow see it on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, wherever you listen to podcasts, Stitcher, whatever. It's all going to be there. But once again, thank you very much. Mr. Christopher signing off, and Jeff Page signing off. Good night, everyone.
See ya.
See ya.